Of course, I forget. I'm not using bloody webcams on this, am I? What an idiot. What an idiot. What an idiot. What an idiot. Here we are, look. This is how it's meant to work. I thought I had this so sewn up. There we go. I thought I'd honestly sorted it out, but and they're all waiting for me as well, look. And I'm like, yes, it's ready. It's ready. But I have to push these buttons like this. There we are.
Hey,
so
Matt.
now we've also
Okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay, yeah. You're a bleach of wonderful bleachness, but
The sun decided to move right where I planned on sitting.
Yeah. So you've got two choices. You can either go back into the shadow so we can see you properly. Oh no, you're 100% bleach. Or you can go totally in the sun, and then your camera will adjust. But at the moment, you need to be in the shadows for your camera to adjust.
Is that going to be better?
That's better because we can see your face now. I mean, you can see what I mean, though. Yeah, there's like this,
Yeah.
just like total whiteout, just like, yeah. So okay,
I'm going to be reaching for papers though, so
that's okay. Well, they're going to be horrible in the sun. They're going to blind you. But he's wearing dark glasses. So now we've got the urban legend is there as well. I'll bring him on briefly. Look, there he is going. But I'll just keep him in the sidelines because he's got his mate that's going to be coming on. So let's just say hello to him. So hello, urban legend.
Right, Matt. I've just came on to tell you he can't make it up tonight. He's been called into work.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, on that note then, I'm just going to get 4 beers because you're depressing me so badly now that I'm just going to get 4 beers. So,
hey, legend.
yeah.
To go to the right hand side.
Well, we'll just have to do with Mr. Dennis, who is apparently a wealth of knowledge in this area of mine and cave safety.
Right,
yeah, I'll be shooting off. I'm just with ALW.
Oh yeah.
Driving.
You bloody name dropper, you. Goodness. You name
Yeah.
droppers. Yeah.
I just came to let you know that Antonio can't make it up. But like I say, he's got to work, so.
Well, screw him then. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Only kidding. I'll catch you later then. Take it easy, dude.
Yeah, no worries. See you in a bit.
See you
Bye.
in a bit. Cheers.
See you later.
Cheers. Bye. Right. Well, there we are. We're back to square one, which is myself and Dennis.
They're saying you're having some kind of an audio issue. It sounds mono, only right-hand audio.
Is it? Oh, yes, indeed. I'm only coming out of one channel. Why is that? Why is that? I don't know. That is weird. Hang on a sec. Tell you what it probably is. It's because I had to take my computer out from under. This is great, isn't it? I had to take my computer out from the table yesterday and put a new £1,600 graphics card in it. Yeah, so I probably dislodged the connectors. Wait a second, I will be back.
He's going in.
Oh, God. Right, so let's get those two in there like that. And then let's see whether these bastards are in there properly. Fuck's sake. Right. Oh, I wonder if that's made any difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sort of, but not perfect. There's definitely something wrong with this connector. Hang on. Oh God. Right. How's that then? Oh, have I gone? I might have gone into mono or stereo.
Yeah, I
on
can see the
on
chat.
The desk. Might be
I'm
something
looking
like
at
that.
the
I don't know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't know. I ain't got any pre-fade listen on. So yeah, I'm getting both channels on the mixer. So what's that like now? If it doesn't work, what I'll do, if it doesn't work, what I will do is I will turn StreamYard into mono audio. Hang on a second. Let's just do that. So to get that, I have to go into the settings mode, which is here, performance filters, properties, anything, signature settings for audio capture input for line in 2, and then there's no settings for it at all. There is no settings. So okay, so it's not property. What about output stream for filters performance? Ah, jeez, pathetic. Right, let's press settings. No, that's not what I wanted. I don't know. Maybe a ball like this because Streamlabs is different. So audio, right? Okay. So I'm on the settings screen now for what my mic device is, but there's no. Hang on. Sample rate mono channels. Oh, requires a restart. You're having a laugh. Oh God, you're having a laugh. No. There's no easy way to do this.
And it looks like. Can you guys see him or no? There we go. Wait, maybe.
Oh. Yeah, hang on. So there's no easy way to do it unless I just keep
There's
buggering
no video feed right now.
Yeah, sorry, I've done it now. There's no easy way to do this apart from buggering about with the thing. And to be honest, if it means restarting the software, it's just not worth it. Hang on a second. Let me try one more time.
Yeah, Clive's saying, and I agree with him, you can just stop the service and restart it probably instead of restarting if you want. If it's, I mean, I don't know. I only listen on the phone anyway, so I can't hear what they're talking about. Andrew says audio is 5.
Right. Ah, I think that might be it. It wasn't the inputs at all. It wasn't the connector. It's the fader that actually slid down because I was moving the things around last night, and where the mixing desk got moved, one of the faders went down. Ah, so there we are. I was pushing.
I moved the table sideways too. I don't know if this is better with the sun off to the side.
Yay! Well, we're only like 15 minutes in and still not really got the show started. But hey, this is what happens when you're upgrading your equipment, you know. So you only learn that something's not quite right when you actually do something live. So there we are. Well, I could have done a test broadcast, I suppose, but hey. So are you having a drink, Dennis, or?
No, not me. Pellegrino. Yeah, you can see that real good. Huh?
Yeah, San Pellegrino. Yeah, that's the extremely overpriced lemon juice drink, isn't it?
And this one is Momenti, clementine and peach.
I think in Italy, where that stuff comes from, it's classed as like a cheap, crappy drink. But because they export it out of Italy, it's like, you can charge them 1,000 times markup on that shit now.
Yeah.
Because lemons are just like tomatoes in Italy. So yeah. So anyway, we'll give some introductions. Dennis is Dennis Hudson, and he's from the United States. And Dennis has done a lot of caving over the years, in addition to his being a certified deep sea diver, which he did for many years as his profession. I believe you, as a volunteer, actually certified yourself for cave rescue. Is that correct?
Actually, I have. My background is over 30 years at this point of search and rescue, 30 something years on Northeast Search and Rescue, and I don't know how many years on Rescue International. We do all the international stuff. But caving, I was part of the National Speleological Service, known as the NSS. I don't know what the equivalent is there. And part of the Northern New Jersey Grotto. And I don't know how many years I did that for.
Right.
But I don't think caves are really that dangerous. And I don't think that's what you guys really explore that much. I think you guys are more in mines than caves over there.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, we've got caves and mines, but you know, there's obviously a big difference between the two, because some of them being natural are not going to produce the same level of gas, I believe. But you have to tell me I'm right. Mines tend to produce more gases than caves.
That is correct, and I have some stuff laid out here. You want me to just start going through it, or?
Yeah, sure. Now, there's also, we got one chap who's going to possibly pop on the screen in a minute, but he looks like he's got chin cam on, so we're looking up his nostrils. But we'll see now if we can get him on. So there's Exploring with Matty. So I'll see if I can format this slightly different. So you all right there, Mr. Matty?
How do?
He's no longer on chin cam.
Yeah,
so,
not too bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Yeah. So we've got Dennis, who is quite well certified. We've got Matt, who believes he's well certified, but I did ask him the question earlier on, are you certified or are you just experienced? So are you certified or are you just
certified?
You are certified.
Yes, I was part of the Northern New Jersey
I'm
Grotto.
certified, but I've got the paperwork for SRT.
Hang on, you're talking over the top of each other there, but yeah, I was asking Matt, but Dennis, you came in and responded. That's fine. So yeah, we got you. So go on then, Matt. What's your certification or what's your qualifications?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, with me, I've done the SRT 1, 2, and 3, so I know all about like setting up rigging, climbing gear, stuff like that to ascend and descend in mines and stuff like that. Obviously, yeah, basic natural rigging, stuff like that. Stuff you can use for like natural rigging in mines and such, things that are in place.
Okay. Now I don't know how to bring you.
Yeah, but back to what Dennis was saying about the build up of gases being greater in mines is due to the like rotten wood and stuff like that, which is why we get a lot more gases in like the mines than we do in caves.
Right. Okay.
There's a lot more decay.
Okay, doke. Now you haven't by any chance got a black eye, have you, Mr. Matty?
No, it's just a light.
That's
I've got a light over here and a laptop.
It looked like you were a spotty dog. Then it's like I thought, shit. I thought you'd have been hurting yourself. So that's okay then. Right. So we'll take it one at a time then. So Matt, you've told us a little bit about what you've done. So let's go back to Dennis because he's got loads of paperwork. And if you want to sort of just chime in, then feel free to sort of like add in what you want. But bear in mind, sometimes the people on the other end don't hear you. So see whether or not they seem to have heard you, you know, before you keep going on, because sometimes you'll talk over the top of everybody else otherwise. Yeah.
Donna can yell at me in chat or something.
Okie doke. So let's see whether we can rearrange the screen so that. Hang on. Oh no, rearrange the screen. So how do I make somebody like the master? There we are. That's the master screen. There we are. And can I put us down the edges and get you? Oh, I don't know. I thought it would be good to not have me here, but to have you as the master. So there we are, Dennis. Solo layout. Oh, we'll just bring you up. I tell you what, I'll bring up whoever's talking. I'll bring them up on screen. So Dennis, we got you full now, and yeah, go for it.
All right. Basically, I kind of have a bunch of stuff here. I went through and pulled some of our old training stuff out and just kind of picked some points I thought would be applicable for you guys. The first thing I was going to say is also just a little prelude. I don't expect everybody to follow what I'm saying, and if you followed all the rules, we would be watching the Matt Goes Exploring in a Museum show. So I understand that everybody is going to take their own risks. The one thing I want to ask you to remember is when you risk your life, you're also risking the life of the people that are going to come rescue you. So
Definitely.
keep that in mind whenever you're doing stuff and the level of risk you're willing to accept. Basically, where I was just going to start off, the first thing is just moving around in caves. False floors are, you can find, well, one other thing quick too. I live in Pennsylvania where we're a huge anthracite coal mine area back to the 1700s. We have massive amount of caves here, and I've been on many cave rescues, whether it was bad air or falls or crushes or whatever. One thing to watch out for in caves is if you see a puddle, and we'll get to the gases. If you see a puddle, hopefully I would advise taking like a walking stick or something with you to always check, because there could be dust on top of a puddle, and to you it looks like dirt. You take one step in, next thing you know, you're in a hole that maybe you can't get out of. Okay. So also, it's good for pounding the here if you're walking on solid ground. If you're walking on boards that may be covering up an adit or a shaft or anything like that. That's just a quick thing for that.
Well, people pointed out that we might have been doing that the other day because we were walking over areas that you could see in front of us had all disappeared and fallen away. And then we were walking on bits that you assume you're walking on solid ground, but actually it may be just ready to disappear underneath you as you walk on it. So yeah, good point.
And that's what's nice about having a walking stick or something like that, so you can sound the ground as you're walking. And at least, you know, if there's a puddle that you think is a solid floor, but it's just a little bit of dust that's the same color as the cave floor on top of the puddle, which I think you guys saw also when you guys were disturbing some water.
Yeah.
You'll know if it's a giant hole or if it's just a little puddle. But I know the biggest thing you want to get to is the gases. Okay. The problem with mine gases is, one, is they're soluble in water. Okay. There are a few. Everybody should have a gas detector when they go in a mine, and an oxygen level. They're all in one units. They have expiration dates on them. You don't buy one and have it forever. You can find them for as low as $90 on Amazon. I don't know how much I trust that. 75 pounds, whatever it is over there. You want to get a decent one, and you want to mine the expiration date, and you also don't want to test it by blowing smoke into it or anything like that, because it'll ruin the sensor. Okay, the main gases in the mines. Let me get to that one sheet here.
Oh, thanks, Kim and Dan, for your $4.99 donation. By the way, that's very kind. Yeah, we were discussing this. It's going to be interesting to find out what your perspective on these gases are. So,
yeah, there's the main one, and this, I think you guys were in a lot of trouble the other night, which would be, which one is it? I think it's part of white damp.
I'm just playing around with the screens here to see how we can kind of get
the
going.
hydrogen sulfide, as Matt mentioned, it can come from rotting organic materials. It is heavier than air. Even if you're in a cave that has airflow or a mine that has airflow, they breathe due to barometric pressure or due to temperature and the density of the air being more or less dense in the cave. It'll push out the exits. I don't care how hard you think the wind is blowing.
Still get build up, don't you?
Are we okay?
Yeah, Matt was saying you still get build up.
Yeah, and especially in the lower areas, you're going to still get a higher concentration of gases. Now, the one I think that you ran into the other night, and this is pretty serious, probably the most serious of all of them. Here we call it stink damp. It's hydrogen sulfide gas, H2S, which is formed by organic materials rotting, like Matt was talking about, and also can come out of the rocks and stuff. Stink damp tends to have the characteristic smell of rotten eggs or sulfur. Would you say that's what you were smelling the other night?
Yeah, that was
a lot of mines in Wales and Lancashire, that sort of area. You do get like build up when you're like disturbing fresh like mud in the ground. You always get a build up of that smell start to rise in your face. That's your first indication that it's present.
Yeah, and it's soluble in water, which is why you get that. It will actually act like a sponge of water, and when you disturb it, it'll release the gases. It's a highly poisonous, flammable, colorless gas. The first stage is you smell it. Okay, you're still okay when you're smelling it. The problem is it'll overpower when it gets too strong and you won't smell it anymore. And this is where it gets dangerous, because at that point it's a highly toxic gas capable of causing death via asphyxiation. It will irritate the eyes, nose, and throat. As it increases, it has a narcotic effect on the nervous system, causing headache, dizziness, and difficulty breathing. At higher levels, it suppresses oxygen in the blood and tissues, resulting in paralysis of the respiratory system and ultimately death in severe
So
cases.
is that a bit like the bends, Dennis?
Not really. The bends is like if you shook me up and popped my top, my blood would boil all over the place.
Oh,
like
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's
That's
compression, isn't it?
yeah. And we get into partial pressures, which is kind of what you were talking about, Matt, where it builds up in certain places because it's different than the air.
This
you also have
this that you're talking about is when one gas takes the place of the other in your blood system. So instead of oxygen going around your system,
Okay.
you get the toxin. Is this what you're saying? I'm just trying to
It's more like I would
building
equate
levels.
more
It builds
like a
up in your
nerve
system,
gas
is it?
during World War One. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Nerve gas, yeah.
It causes a toxic effect, not a dilution effect.
Mm. But that's interesting what you say, and thank you, by the way, for a £5 donation from Exploring with Fighters. So Exploring with Fighters in the house, and Dan, you really probably want to hear this because Dan was there the other day when we were all kind of debating. Is this a problem? Are we okay? Are we not okay with this stink smell? So Dan is definitely the person to be. Hey, look, there's Blakely there. Blakely,
He's making an appearance.
yeah. Oh, Blakely.
Did Dan have his detector?
Getting bored.
Dan
Excuse
has
me.
got a detector, yeah. I don't know whether he had it with him, but
He usually has.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, we could talk about the items we should really take with us, and Dan has got one. The trouble is, it's really easy. Like I think we did the other day, we all just rushed out of the house because we were all excited to go, and we maybe didn't take everything we could have taken with us to keep us safe. But it's interesting what you say about you smell that smell, but then it's almost like it neutralizes your ability to smell it, so you don't smell anything after that.
It
So-
does, because it starts causing a paralysis of your nerve system, which is what causes a paralysis of the breathing.
Mm. So we're going like, can you smell that? Can you smell that? Next thing you go, yeah, it's not there anymore.
Right,
That's when
exactly.
that's when it
Continue
could
on.
be. It's taken you over a little bit. You don't even realize it.
Right. And it's the most dangerous gas in the mine. You have carbon monoxide. And when you get a gas detector, it's going to be a 4-gas detector. It's going to probably see 4 holes in it. You have carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and what's the other one? I forget. It's basically just explosive gas detection. Well, oxygen detection, because you got to monitor the oxygen levels as well. The same thing with the displacement, especially at mine faces and lower levels. You can run into what's called dead air, which has a low oxygen content, and that's that you can understand what that does, I'm sure. And that you'll just start feeling dizzy and pass out, and anybody that goes to try and help you is going to feel dizzy and pass out too, and then it's a chain reaction.
So basically, what you're saying from earlier on, I'm just going to have to recap because obviously a lot of this stuff's going to be like a lot for people to take in, myself
Yeah, I'm trying
included.
not to go crazy.
No,
with
that's
this
fine. But there are different densities of gases. So, like you said, that this stink gas is more dense than air. So, because it's more dense, it's going to want to go to the lowest part of the mine. Is that correct?
That is correct, and also it's soluble in water, so it will actually concentrate in water, just like if you mixed salt in water, it becomes salt water.
So, if you were worried about this, would the difference in sort of safety and non-safety be? Say you could climb up a face inside and get higher, or if you had the choice between 2 tunnels to walk up, one which was going uphill and one which was going downhill, and you'd smelt that smell, you'd say go for the uphill one till you can get yourself a bit of oxygen.
I'd say go back the way you came.
Yeah, okay.
Is the only safe bet in that situation.
Mm.
It's also worth, when you're exploring these places too, it's also worth, not for the gases, but you should also be wearing some kind of a protection for your breathing, whether it's just a simple face mask or a respirator or something like that as well.
Mm.
think my fan's going on my laptop.
Oh, it's your fans whizzing, is it? I wonder
Yeah.
what it was.
That's why I keep tapping it. It shuts up when I tap it.
Ah, right.
So what do you
Perhaps
what do you have for that,
it's
Matt?
got a gas problem. So okay, well that's just kind of interesting because I mean a lot of this is gonna be like whoosh, you know, to a lot of people. So that's why I'm saying like if we go over some of these points again, if anybody's got any questions, right, I'm going to try and read the questions that come in because I'm sure these are all going to be good questions. Now,
Do we want to hear if Maddie has anything first too?
yeah, Matt, you got any points on any of that? I'll read some of the questions that people are putting through. So, any points on what you've heard so far, Matt?
No, he's covering it all really. It's basics. As I said to you earlier in chat, mate, it was like the main thing to watch out for is your footing. A lot of these mines, as you know, especially slate mines, stuff like that, which a lot of people are hitting up in England because we're full of it in Wales. A lot of them slate mines have got a lot of debris on the floor, and it's so easy just to step in amongst two of them on the downhill slide and just twist yourself over. And I've actually seen it happen myself a few times. No, you weren't with us when me and Dan basically went to that one in Wales. Luke went over, fell down. I think Flex fell on his ass as well. So yeah, like a couple of the guys, it's just basically about just being careful and being cautious and taking your time.
Yeah, no rushing. You should check your footing, and if you've got that stick, which is like a walking stick, really, isn't it? You've got like a walking stick. It's almost like, you know, these people go walking up mountains, and they have like these little sticks they use to walk with, you know. And you think, what are they doing with one of those? Well, just maybe one of those. And what you do is what you're saying is if you want to be really careful, if you want to be pedantic about it, you could just have one of these and just sort of like prod in front of you before you step.
Right. Or just get a cheap monopod so you can pack it.
Something nice and lightweight. Yeah.
Okay. I did see one thing in chat about radon. That is a concern.
But it's not deadly though, is it?
But you'd have to be living in the mine for it to affect you.
Yeah.
Basically.
I'm pretty sure it takes 15 years before you'll have any signs of it show within your body anyway.
Yeah. It's usually when somebody says radon gas in the mine, warning, what they mean is we just don't want you in the mine. It's not actually a dangerous gas in so much as you'd have to have loads of it and be there for ages, as you say. So they put it in some mines to just scare people off. Ooh, radiation. Now, these other gases that we're talking about are the dangerous ones, the ones that will kill you like that, you know.
Also, the sulfide is explosive in concentrations, which you were talking about also with people smoking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah,
and that's another big problem we've got.
Number one
There's
rules.
A lot of people smoke.
Yeah, I mean we'll come back to go on then. Number one rules. I was when I went years and years ago, and I think I've got them down by here. I went down the Corsham mines. I'd never done it before, and I went online and bought these maps, which you can buy, and they're like £6 a piece, you know. And these ones are laminated, Dan, so I can put them in my mouth. Look. Yeah.
The problem is with a lot of their maps, though, as you know, isn't it, Matt, is they change daily. That place changes daily. So even their maps, you can get one from last year, and it's still not going to be like that now.
And the thing is, looking at a map, you think, oh, that's okay, it's a map. When you're actually confronted with it in reality, and you need to have a compass with you because it's so complicated, and you really have to sort of like, you know, it's not simple. It's not simple. You could be down there for
one lapse in judgment, and you'll forget where you was on the map before, and then that's game over. Then you've got to try and work your way back to the main route on that map again to try and work out where you were to carry on.
You could be standing within like 10 foot of the entrance, but because it's just like behind a little couple of stones, you can't see it. And you're going, well, I'm sure I was here, you know. And it's like, so number one thing they said though, when I bought these maps, and I really didn't know much about it, and not many people were kind of doing this cheeky caving, which is like what we're doing, this risky caving, which is like caving without a club, caving without a training, caving without experience, just going for it, yeah. Which, you know, can sometimes work. It can work, but the one thing they said, well, there were three things. They said hard hat, number one, because you're always banging your head and you can knock yourself out, yeah? And no naked flames. So never, ever try to light up a match or light a cigarette up and I see people doing it all the time. In fact, we met a couple of people the other day, and they were smoking some doobies down there, and we walked past them. We were like, "All right, lads," and they're sitting there
I'm not saying
smoking.
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, some minds are safer than others, but they do tell you.
I'll admit to it. I do it myself. I do it myself, but only in places that I know have got a good airflow. There's no, like, do you know what I mean? And it's more towards the entrance, really. Like when I'm deep underground in some of these mines that I've been abseiling like 1,000 foot down to in the bottom of Cornwall and that, there's no chance I'm smoking down there. No chance.
Yeah.
Plus, if you know the mines and you know there's people every day going in and out of it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So much. Also, Matt, like I said, I don't expect people to follow what I say.
Yeah.
But a bike helmet is not appropriate in the mine.
No.
You should look at getting a Petzl or something like that has all the attachment points for the cameras and everything. Would be more appropriate for in the mines.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The only reason I said about the bike helmet is because versus having there's like the having nothing syndrome, then there's the paying a lot of money for a Petzl, which may not be that much money. Yeah,
that's what I use myself.
Exactly. There's a Petzl. You know, there's being able to source one and find one and afford one, right? As a good alternative, if you happen to have a bike helmet, what I was suggesting is that it will stop you knocking yourself out. And,
I agree.
And gashing your head badly, which
yeah, something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking this from a full-blown rescue perspective and saying what should be, so people know what's proper. But if you don't have a Petzl, your noggin's going to be better in a bike helmet.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the other thing is as well, I was not into the idea because I've used them over the years. These hard hats that you get on building sites, which are just like cheap plastic things. They're okay. They'll probably protect you from something falling on your head, but they're just so uncomfortable and so sweaty.
A chin strap too.
Yeah.
You have to have a chin strap.
Yeah, they are very, very uncomfortable. And I found that I just used to sweat myself out in them. That's why I thought that the bike helmet was better. I don't know what your feelings are on that, using Petzls, whether they're better. Because for long-term use, like underground...
I wouldn't say Petzl. I wouldn't say Petzl. Like, Petzl is, like, that's literally, you're paying out the arse for something like that. That's top of the range, like, as good as it gets. There's other brands out there. There's Camp. There's another one that's on the rise at the minute. It's Black Diamond. They're a new company that have come to the scene. They're making some really good gear as well. It's all AII tested. It's all above board official. So they've got some good gear out. And I mean, you're talking £20-30 for a helmet with a chin strap on it with light attachments. That'll be the best £30 you've spent. But then, if you're talking about gear, I'd say the second to none most important thing you're going to need is an all-in-one dry suit or some sort of caving suit. I mean, I've been with people recently that have fallen asleep on me while I've been off setting up rigging, and we've come back across the Chamber of Horrors in the Bridge of Death, and they've been near enough to the point, like, they can't speak properly. They're all over the place. It's time to get them out of here. They're all delirious, and it's like hypothermia setting in, and this person ain't got long. We've got to get them out of here.
And with that, Matty, a good reference for that would be like boiling a frog in water. He doesn't realize he's getting boiled until it's too late.
Especially not when they're asleep.
Exactly.
He was lucky we come back, because I said to him, if we didn't wake you up when we did, you might not have woke up. And some people don't understand, like, how serious that is as well. Like, you get tired from exhaustion. I mean, we were underground for 12 hours that night before he fell asleep. And it was like, we've got 12 hours to get back out of here yet. So yeah, it got a bit too much for one lad, and he sat down. Next thing you knew, he was asleep. Next thing we wake him up, he's delirious, didn't know where he was asking us what was going on. Like, he was just so confused. And it is one of the real dangers that and I didn't think about that myself. I knew you had to wear warm clothing, but I've never been that deep into a mine that exhaustion's hit you. The sweating constantly turned to cold now. You're starting to shiver uncontrollably, and you've just got to keep pushing on. And some people, I know, they just haven't got the go in them to get out of there, and they just want to give up. They want to sit down, they want to rest, and it's like, that's not you can't do that. You're putting us at risk by resting.
Yeah, when you rest, your body temperature can go down, and then you're more reliant upon having warm clothing or bedding on you then. I mean, I remember watching a movie about these Russians who escaped from a gulag camp in Siberia. you know, and they all had to keep moving. They had to keep moving and keep moving because they
Yeah.
said, well, you know, we haven't got the right clothes on, and if we stop moving, our body temperature is going to go down. So eventually, they were all knackered, and they all like sat down for like half an hour, and when they woke up, two of them were frozen. They were actually frozen solid. Yeah, and it's like, so then the rest of them just kept moving. You know, it's like one of those things. If you're moving, keeps your temperature up. If you stop moving for any length of time, your temperature can go down. Would you go with that, Dennis? Or
Yeah, you sit still, and that's what I mean. It's like boiling a frog, even though it's the opposite. You
Yeah.
sit still. The caves and mines are a constant temperature, and it's not a temperature that a human survives at without
Nope.
you know layering up and that sort of thing.
now, what was the other thing you just mentioned? Talking about one-piece suits. I mean, I got the lads to come out and get some stuff from Screwfix because I contacted I said, oh, you know, I need some waders or something like that, and I contacted like a fishing shop because I thought, oh, they'll have that sort of stuff, you know, it'll be quite cheap. And I said, you got any waders? He goes, yeah. I said, just cheap ones, and it was like £70 they wanted for these waders. £70, right? So anyway, I thought, screw this, screw this. I'm going to go to Screwfix, yeah. So I went to Screwfix, and they had an all-in-one suit, which was thinnish plastic. But the thing is, it's so cheap that yeah, if you rip it or whatever, it's not the end of the world. Like, you know, if you're going caving, you're expecting to like scuff yourself up against stuff. But it was a two-piece suit. It was completely waterproof. Now we did get sweaty in them, but we were warm. You know, I wasn't
that
cold.
crap layer of moisture around your body, though, inside it. That's why they say to buy these suits, these all-in-one suits, because they say that trapped layer of moisture and that will actually keep you warm. But yes, it's an uncomfortable feeling, but it's going to keep you warm.
What we used to do is we had caving suits, but they were more like a canvas material that wouldn't.
Yeah, like that's like mine. Neoprene, is it?
Well, no, they weren't neoprene. They were actually like they weren't. It was actually like wearing a canvas suit. It was they were called cave suits here, but our big thing was neoprene, no cotton, not neoprene. Sorry, polypropylene. Do not wear cotton. Wool is good. So polypropylene and wool is your friend. They will wick water away. Cotton will hold it against your body and give you hypothermia.
That's interesting. See, there you go. There's a piece of information for you.
And you can get I mean, you probably have polypropylene laying around if you have long johns or something like that.
I tell you what, I was going to say, one piece of advice here would be, Dennis, if you're on your laptop, you on like Firefox or Chrome or something?
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm just going to see there's a special setting, and you can move your volume up a bit louder. Right. If you go down.
No. I'm not using. I'm on my phone, and my computer is just sitting next to me so I can watch the chat.
Is the phone? Oh well, don't worry about it. It's okay. I just thought there's a thing now. They got this beta, and you can slide the volume up in your settings. But hey, don't worry about it. It's just because Matt's loud and you're a bit quieter.
Let me see if I could do it inside of this
camera mic.
Yeah.
I'm not really loud though, Matt. You know that.
Nah, it's all right. It's just
is that too loud?
No. Go louder.
That too loud?
No. Go all the way.
That's max.
Is it max? That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So
you're going to look at. We should probably see if everybody has questions, so we don't just browse over everything too.
Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Do you see you're hearing a bit louder? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
That's it, because it's just a bit hard because some people have been like, Matt's really loud, and it's one of those bring you up to the same level, isn't it? Great. So anyway, I'm just going to say hello to a few people in the chat channel, because we've got Urban Legend, TNMT Forever, Donna, LK Computers, Urban Lad Yorkshire. Thank you. Well, he's actually donated $4.99. I didn't hear it go diddling. So yeah, I didn't even hear that. So we've got Clive Rutherford, Matthew Bellamy, Martin Hill, Exploring with Aish, Toby Scott Ison. Yeah, and I know Toby's interested in this stuff because he's interested in caving as well. So I'm sure we're all going to learn a little bit of something tonight. Now, the thing is, I mean, a lot of this, the reason we're doing this tonight is because people saw the video where myself, Exploring with Fighters, Josh, and Bucky, and who else was there? I think that was about it, wasn't it? Yeah, we all went down this cave. Now, we do this all the time. Yeah, we do this sort of stuff. I mean, like, I go down, like, Rudlow Manor, and I go down bunkers and caves and things like this. But to be honest, it's like the last thing we ever think about, or I do, certainly, is, like, gases. That's the last thing I ever think about, is, like, gases and hypothermia and, like, about the biggest thing that I'm starting to sort of like pick up on. But you know why I wear that helmet is because I got the 360 camera strapped on the front of it. But now that I know it's the last thing I think of, and I'm always hitting my head really badly. I have gashed my head up something crazy, and I
Especially
wish.
in bot.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got that lower level platform that you've got to crawl through, ain't you? That's got the change in level halfway through, just by the entrance. It always gives you a good whacking.
Now, I wish I'd had.
You split your head on there.
I wish I'd had just something on my head in the Paris catacombs, because honestly, I must have knocked myself senseless over 5 hours that we were in there walking around, and I was bent. Especially when you're bent, when you have to bend over, right? Your head is down like that, and you're sort of like, you can feel something scuffing sometimes, and you're like that, and then eventually, you know, you sort of like start to lean up, and you go bang, and you nearly knock yourself out. You really do. Whoa! It's like proper. So I mean,
you feel it down your spine.
Yeah, it's so avoidable if you wear a hard hat, you know, or some sort of like bike helmet.
I wouldn't go that far, Matty. I've had somebody recently stood on the top, and he keeps making a habit of doing this. Every time I'm abseiling off somewhere, decides to stand there and look over and see what I'm doing, and kick the biggest rock you've ever seen in your life over the top of me. And every time they hit my head, even though I've got hard hat on, I still feel the shell shock go through my head. And I'd say sometimes it's worse. You just feel a little cut on your head and the rock bounce off. But when you got helmet on, you feel the impact.
Well, you need to do what we do on our search and rescue team. If you're up above and you kick a rock down and you hit somebody, it's an automatic case of beer that they have to buy you.
No, I don't drink.
That'll stop them from doing it.
That's true. That's true. But the other thing is as well, I mean, like we have gone down places like Bethel, and we're all like going down the ladders and things like this. But people have like mud, and they have dirt on their shoes, and all sorts of stuff. And if if you're the guy going first down, you get in the tunnel first, but you also get all the shit kicked in your face, you know. So
that's horrible.
It's like it's always the same, you know, and it's. So, you know, if you're the first person down, you get to see it first, but you always get all the crap knocked on you. So it's really a good idea just not to go down until somebody's all the way down. And that takes a bit longer, but, you know, or the people who are going down should be the people who've got the hard hats on or stuff like that, because they're the ones who are going to get the high-speed rocks are going to hit them. So, if that makes any sense. But, so I think
another relation, mate. This is another big one. So I've had a lot.
You've broken up there,
and it was flaky, and we couldn't work out.
10 seconds. You broke up there, and you weren't. We didn't hear you. Go back. Oh.
So yeah, I've had some friends lately that have ended up with some like real bad skin problems and stuff.
Oh right, okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah, I got that.
And it's we couldn't work out what it was because we were crawling through these mines that were wet, and there was certain pools of water in it that we were passing through, and we didn't realise that in these metal mines they actually use pools of acid to break down the ore inside the mine. So you get acid, and not just that, we've had it as well coming through floors. So you'll be walking underneath a false floor, and these pools of acid actually drip through the floor. So the water that's dripping down might necessarily be clean water that could potentially be contaminated water. So that's another thing to look out for in mines that are flooded and stuff like that, especially if they're metal mines.
And I mean, you know, a lot of these places wouldn't have been mining for like, you would imagine, like 50 years or 100 years. But I mean, it depends where the water's been getting in. There might have been pools of this stuff that have kind of filled up, and you know, it's never uniform. So I suppose there could be pools that, you know, could be 100 years old of acid, and they just got water into them, and you're just going through the first time that these things have been exposed. So yeah, this is why, you know, I did say actually, about gloves. When we were in Screwfix, I said I personally prefer to buy full rubber gloves, which are chemical gloves, because unlike these ones which say they're waterproof, but they're not. What they are is like they're semi-waterproof. If you put your hand in water, it'll get wet, it'll get heavy. But if you put these chemical gloves on, they're literally, you can put your hand in bleach or acid, yeah, and pull them out, and then rinse them off, and you'll be fine. Now they're the best types of gloves to have, not only because you can grip anything and you don't get wet, but because wherever you
Is that the
end
ones
up
that look like
sticking your hand,
marigolds?
like they're like marigolds, but they're
A lot longer on the
yeah, you can get gauntlet
sleeve.
ones that come up there for like only like a fiver in Screwfix. They're like £5. But I did say to Dan, I said, you're going to look like a complete ponce, but you're probably going to be really glad you had them. It's like,
Well, hopefully the cameras ain't out when you're all crawling through water anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
now, see, now the check out actually what people got was not based on the protection level and the waterproof level they had. Guess what they chose when they were in Screwfix? Right, I'm sorry, Dan, I'm going to tell them the secrets here. They chose the gloves that looked the coolest. They chose the ones that looked the coolest, not the ones that were waterproof, like fully waterproof, which might look but ugly, yeah. But screw the what it looks like. I mean, like Dan's NCB full plastic NCB chemical warfare suits did not look cool, but they totally 100% kept them dry. So there would have been no acid on his knees, no acid on his elbows, no, none of that. But the hands were not protected. That's the thing. They were open. Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure though, if I'm not wrong, was that at the Stone Mine, isn't it? The one you was at in Lancashire.
yeah, it was a copper mine.
Oh, so it was a metal mine. So yeah, they could have been acid pools in there.
But we were at the high, I think we were at the sort of entry level was the high level. I don't know if there was many levels above us, but it seemed to be everything was going
There was
below
definitely
us.
levels below you, weren't there?
Yeah,
I seen the ore passes you were crossing across the top of.
Yeah.
On them little wood yellow boards. That was an old ore pass going down. And yeah, at that point, I think that's what made a few people cringe, because you were passing that and there was a safety line going across the back, which usually you clip your cow's tails to.
Yes.
When you cross across, but obviously you lot was just walking across.
Yeah, we were walking across with our hands on it, hoping for the best. Like, yeah. So, any points on that, Dennis? You got anything to add on like, gloves and sort of acids you might find underground? Things you didn't expect?
I haven't run into that. The only thing we have out west is a lot of issues with mercury, but out here we're all coal mines and that sort of thing. So we have different issues because you guys don't have a lot of coal mines over there, right?
We do. We've got a lot.
Oh yeah. Okay. Because they give off carbon monoxide.
I think that's why personally, I'll never explore a coal mine, just for the sheer fact there's a lot of history behind it, and it's a bit of a sore subject in England. The mine, obviously, I'm not sure if it happened in America and that, but obviously over here we had the miners' strikes going back decades ago, and yeah, it's still a bit of a sore subject. So coal mines are a bit of a place that like to be left alone.
Plus, the coal mines, they also give you a different thing, which is, just in case everybody doesn't have your view, is when they've been mined, it releases a lot of noxious gases out of the coal as well, which is a big one to carbon monoxide.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who knows, everybody's complaining about the word fracking. Well, what does fracking mean? It means if you split up rocks, you get gases come out of them. So, realize that if you're in a cave, those rocks are moving by themselves, that cracking, and the rocks are moving, so they're constantly releasing gases. It's not a case of that nobody's been down there for hundreds of years, so it should be all right now. As we were saying earlier on, that some of those gases are going to be denser than air, so they're going to probably go to the bottom, and there's going to be a constant release through sort of like geo forces, like movement, which is why these things subside, why you see the rock falls. Because they were never like that when they were going down there originally. They would have just been open tunnels, but we're walking along and it's like you're walking over things and over things and over things. Well, they were never there when they had rail carts. Those are rock falls. So all those rock falls and all that movement is releasing gas. So I suppose that's not a good thing. And Dennis, the other thing is as well. I mean, like people in my family, you know, used to work down the mines, and the stories that people tell are that people work down mines. They used to go down there with canaries. They always had to have lights that were enclosed in a special fireproof thing, because they were naked flames, but they were in a special fire
I have a couple
thing.
of those. Yeah, they're like that tall. They're brass.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason they did that is because they, the canary would die if there were gases. Yeah, so you'd know to get out of there really quickly. And B, because if you put that naked flame down there, I mean, you'd never catch people smoking underground. I mean, it was like you were treated as a real pariah if you were caught smoking underground. You could probably lose your job. Probably never be allowed to work down the mines again, I suppose, because you're putting hundreds of people's lives at risk. But I mean, when an explosion happens, it'll just bring the roof in, and they just won't be able to. There's no question they probably won't be able to recover the body. They won't even try. They'll just say goodbye, and they'll just wall you in, and like his
Right.
body's in there somewhere. It's just going to be too hard to recover.
With rescues, there's acceptable risk, and you never put yourself in a situation where where it's not worth getting yourself killed to recover somebody's remains, which we've had to do quite a few times.
There was even the story of a scuba diver who went above and beyond to try and get somebody's body to try and recover them. And I think Dennis should know this one, because he was into scuba stuff, because he was a deep sea diver. But this guy did something like he went crazy into this area to get this guy out. And did he save the guy? But he died himself.
I'm pretty sure they both died.
They both died.
Sure they both died.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm thinking of the same story, where
did he go to get his body? He went to get his body,
Exactly.
and then he died. Yeah. So.
And that's also something too. Just on the sidebar, I am actually a certified cave diver. I'm also a recreational diver. If you're a certified diver, never go into a cave unless you get certified as a cave diver. You will lose your life. So, just a side note for any divers.
Is that
down
to
another level, isn't it?
Yeah, is that down to like the currents that like will just pull you away?
There's a lot of different
it's more
things.
to the point of you can't just surface.
Right. You can't surface. There's a lot of different things. I mean, you could go into an enclosed space and you stir up the mud and you don't know where you came from. You're done. That's it. They're going to go in and pull your body out when everything clears up.
Yeah. Now, a certified diver would be using lines, would they? So they could just feel their way out.
Yeah.
Feel their way out.
You also go through a lot of training, and you also have to. That's a situation where there's a lot of people that aren't cut out for it. You have to be able to be on the verge of panic and not panic. If you panic, you're dead. That's a huge thing with it. If you lose your air, if it gets ripped out of your mouth by a rock, and you're in the middle of squeezing through a space, you gotta have yourself prepared to get yourself back into a position to grab your air, get in your mouth, grab your secondary air, get it in your mouth, and not flip out because you're going to be dead. If you start, moving around, everything's getting tangled up, and and that's a big thing. Stalagmites and stalactites that can grab things and rip them out of your mouth, and it's just a lot of specific training you need to go through for that.
It's funny you say that, because when I had my pilot training, they throw things at you. Like you saying, they would pull your stuff out of your mouth and watch how you react. And it's like eventually you react the right way. They train you to react the right way. So when it happens, you instinctively react the right way. But it's so easy to react the wrong way if you haven't had the training, because it's so like I found this out because I've had no training on boats, no training whatsoever, apart from the common sense I think I've got. But a number of times things have happened to me where shit's happened, and it's like we're gonna crash into those rocks now because we're going, and I'm like, shit, how do I start the engine? How do I start the engine? How do I start the engine? I'm concentrating on the engine. Now somebody told me you need to get an anchor. And you say, like, anchors? Oh, what do you want an anchor for? It's big old anchor. What do you want an anchor for? And it's like, because the first thing you should do when you start drifting, if your engine has gone wrong, yeah, is you throw the anchor in, because then you don't drift. Then you worry about the engine. But see, my reaction was exactly the wrong one. I did exactly the wrong thing. I was worried about the engine, fuel, going all around those houses, yeah, instead of doing the thing that would actually probably have saved the situation. Now, it could have got really bad really quick. I was lucky.
Did you have an anchor?
And I had an anchor, but I didn't stick it in the water. Now, it's happened to me twice now, and twice I've looked back on it and I thought, do you know what? If I'd have put that anchor in the water, somebody told me, if shit goes down, put the anchor in the water, yeah? And it's like, but until the emergencies happen, you don't realize how you're going to react. And you go, engine's not working. What's wrong with the engine? What's wrong with the engine? And as you're wasting time drifting towards big ships, shipping lanes, in our case, I was in Portsmouth Harbour, and the water was just doing this. And it would have just, if we'd have flipped over in the boat, we'd have gone down. You'd never have seen us. We'd have gone under. It was just like that. And I was like, engine. And we were moving towards that water. What I should have done is put the anchor down. But because I didn't have the training, it's that thing. It's like, it sounds shit. It sounds shit to sort of like say to people, it's worthwhile having some training if it's only for just one day. Like me now, right? I mean, we go down these caves, but I'm really like, but even if it's just one day's training, it's probably going to be worth it, because you'll learn some things. They'll say, oh, you think you know caving? You've been caving a bit? Yeah, you've been caving a bit. They'll just throw things at you didn't expect. I was like, react. Go on, react now. React. How do you react? And they want to see whether you react the right way. And then that way you realize, shit, I do need some training. It's kind of like that, oh, shit, realization moment. It's like
me when I first got into climbing gear underground.
You were quite confident. Would I say overconfident?
I was confident.
You've had some training now.
I was too confident, mate, because I've looked back on some of the things that I'd done when I was a rookie that I had no clue. And some of the stuff, even the rigging, I look back on and I'm like, I would never do it now. I'd never, ever do it.
I was worried about you, actually, mate, because I thought he's got the spunk. He wants to do it, so he's definitely going to do this. But I can't tell him what to do because I don't know what I'm doing. You mean
with rope work?
He's either going to make a really big mistake. He's either going to make a really big mistake, or he's going to get trained. Yeah. And it sounds like you probably scared yourself, or you got the training, one or the other. It's like
I wouldn't say I scared myself. It's more of the point I just kept taking Tim, and you know what he's like. He wouldn't let me do certain things. He's like, without the training, I'm not taking you to this place. I'm not going here with you. So in the end, I went and got it. I was like, there it is.
Yeah, because
you're also a danger to everybody else that you're with.
Yeah, of course. But I didn't understand that at the time, and I don't think most people do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's not until you've actually sat down with Cave Rescue and you've actually gone through the hard graft of like putting yourself underground for 12 hours and actually tried getting your friend out of there that you thought was going to die on you, and then you understand the hard work these guys are going to, but they're putting themselves in this position just to save your ass. Like, they're not there on a jolly like you are. They're literally putting themselves out to do this.
I mean, I saw a family of I'm not going to say exactly who this was, but I mean, I saw a helicopter come out and 2 or 3 rescue guys, like for about 45 minutes, having to sort of like maneuver themselves near a cliff to get this thing down to be able to lift people up into the helicopter to get away. I mean, the cost is in the thousands.
Yeah.
You're talking like £2,000 or £3,000 just for the helicopter and fuel. These guys are volunteers. If you had to pay them, it would cost a lot of money. They're volunteers, so it costs a lot of money for this sort of stuff. But I mean, it's only through making mistakes sometimes that people learn that probably they need to, go and train a bit more or do a bit more research. Now, we're very cavalier when we do these things. I mean, I didn't know. For example, I'm not blaming anybody, but I didn't know we were going to go caving, and I was like, oh God, we're going to go caving, and I'm thinking like it's going to be extreme stuff because, like, Dan likes to do the extreme, like, oh, we could fall down a cavern, we could fall down this, and we could fall down that, and it's great. It makes great television because it's true.
It only takes one mistake, though.
It's true, but the thing is, we're going nose to nose with gases. and extreme things that we don't understand. Like, you know, we do not understand what we're doing down there, and we're
But
completely
sometimes that's what
unprepared.
makes exploring.
Yeah, we're completely unprepared, and the fun comes from when we screw up. But the thing is, it's like there's screw ups and there's screw ups. Like a screw up in a haunted house means, like, you know, you have to find a way out. You know, but screw up in a cave means there's gases and poisons, and you know, some of you may not be getting out of there. It just seems to
Yeah.
me like there's a level of we have to say in the future, we got the gas meters with us. We got stuff that's going to warn us. Enough's enough. Time to get out. You know, we've got the equipment. Dan's got the equipment. We've got it. We've just got to use it.
Yeah.
You know, some people haven't got it. You know, hopefully they don't learn the hard way. But
But I would say though, Matty, when you're passing all passes and stuff, you've got a harness. Get yourself 3 carabiners and 3 meters of rope, and make yourself some cow's tails, and just share the harness if you've got it. When you get the other side, just clip it on and slide it back across the safety line to the next person. Just so then it keeps people happy. Nobody can whinge at you. Do you know what I mean? And you're taking the right precautions and not to put yourself at risk.
yeah. Well, I've got that equipment, but I didn't have it with me because I didn't know we'd be going into.
I wouldn't even go into the mine anymore without my harness and cow's tails. I won't go anywhere underground without it. Well, box and that, obviously, you know, it's all flat surface. It's a different story. But yeah, most places I won't go with it now without it.
Yeah. Now, Dennis, you said to me, now I don't want to give any people the wrong ideas here, because I mean it sounds like we're being sort of like schoolmaster sort of. No, then you're gonna do this and do that, and do that.
Well, like I said, you take your acceptable risk. I'm just giving you the realities of stuff, and then like I said,
you've never encountered a problem. You said you've never encountered a problem that would have killed you, but it's not the point. It's the fact is it's like you've probably done it thousands of times, but there could be just that one time in 1,000, which is much higher odds than winning the lottery. Yeah.
I've encountered many problems that would have killed me if I didn't know what I was doing.
Right. Okay. I'm kind of interested because I'm like a voyeur of dangerous experiences. Do you want to tell us some of your shitty, scary experiences? Have you had any shitty, like, have you like thought, capital letter F for monetization reasons? Yeah.
Mostly in doing whitewater. And also in doing water rescue. But if you want to look up something really interesting, and this was always on a commercial diver's mind, look what happens when an air supply stops and a non-return valve fails sometime. I think Mythbusters even did an episode on it. You immediately your whole body tries to go through a hole that big. There it is.
Yeah.
But mostly in close to drowning experiences in whitewater. And I never really had any. We were always prepared for what we were doing. You know, I really can't think of any with the caving, with the mine rescue. Like I said, if we felt it was too risky, we wouldn't risk our lives to go save a body. You know, but there's been a few times doing line work, especially in water rescues, where I've been tangled up and held underwater. Or one time when I was guiding in whitewater, I worked for a whitewater company, and I was a kayak guide, so I had this spray skirt, you know, that you pull off your kayak.
Yeah.
And we had this rock called Wilhoits on the Lehigh River, and we used to have to go and get on this rock. The whole river came into a gorge. See, where am I? There I am. Came into a gorge, and right in the center there was a rock. And you know what happens with water when you put it through a funnel?
It goes faster.
Exactly. And if the rafts came in, the customers came in sideways, they would hit it. The rock was undercut. The raft would go underneath, and if another raft came down, it would sandwich everybody underwater and kill them. So we had to go sit on that rock with our feet, and if a raft came at the front of it, we'd have to use our feet to push it around the side of the rock before it could go undercut. And one time, I don't know what happened. I jumped off of that rock. We've done it a million times. You jump off in the eddy behind it. It's still really crazy white water, but you jump off, not in the eddy, you jump off like on the eddy wall so you can get to shore where the current grabs you. And somehow something, a whirlpool or something, grabbed my, I don't know what it was, but grabbed my spray skirt. And all of a sudden I was standing on the bottom of the river. Like I could feel the rocks under my feet and then my butt. So I pushed up. I was swimming towards the surface, swimming. And next thing you know, I feel the rocks on my butt and my feet, and they're not moving either. So I jump up, and I'm like, I did this about 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna die.
You're stuck.
I mean, I'm out of breath. I can't get to the surface, and at the last second, I somehow got into the current and popped up, and it was a situation I wasn't prepared. There was no knowledge of, because I know how to deal with laminar flows and everything, and how to use them to my advantage to pull me out of, say, a low-head dam or something like that. But this I didn't understand, because it just kept slamming me to the bottom of the river. I wasn't moving forward or backward. Every time I jump up, I just go boink right back down again, and I couldn't swim up. But then I popped up, and I couldn't even swim to shore. Look, they saw me. They had to pull me to shore. My arms weren't even working anymore at that point, because I was so exhausted trying to get out. That was probably the scariest experience I've ever had.
Jeez.
I'm glad I kayak on the River Thames, which is flat water.
Yeah, we have some pretty crazy rivers up here in the northeast of the U.S.
No, I've seen some of them.
Water's really powerful. I mean, I've experienced like trying to swim to the point where my arms aren't working anymore, and I just feel like I've got nothing.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good. It's not a nice feeling.
That's why they say float to survive, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go across to something that somebody's put in the comments, because I haven't really been picking up. But there's a guy called Huskies Hobbies UK. Now this is, as I said, some people. The reason we're doing this tonight is because some people commented on watching the video that we did with Josh EWF, where they said that what we were doing was irresponsible. Now it probably was, but to most people, they aren't going to understand that. So I said, hey, come on, don't be like, because there was a certain amount of antagonism there, like, screw you guys, you don't know what you're doing, screw you. And I said, well, tell me, don't give me all the screw you. Give us advice, give us advice. And I invited.
Well, you were called an idiot at one point, and that's when I started.
I am an idiot in some areas, but the thing is, I'm an idiot that wants to learn, and
right.
Sometimes you need to just scare some people to kind of get them to learn. Now the thing is, unless I realize the seriousness of what I'm doing, I'm probably going to keep on doing it, and that's the thing. So maybe what we want to do here is we don't want to stop people doing things, but we want to sort of like instill a little bit of like, scare, so you remember, like a good horror movie, it's like kind of like,
I'd say the difference is though, Matty, is between you, Dan Dixon, and your average Joe, is Dan's done this many times, and I think that's what people are forgetting. Dan does go underground a hell of a lot, so he does know what he's on about. He knows what he's looking at. Yes, he hasn't taken the right safety gear sometimes. As you said, sometimes they're on the road for days, them guys. Do you know what I mean? And they end up just rocking up at somewhere. You can't just call them idiots because they haven't got the gear with them at the time. Yes, most people would call the trip off and say they're not going to do it, but that's only because they've got the gear and they're used to using it all the time. And do you know what I mean? They know every risk and every, like, Dan does know what he's doing. And that's as simple as that. They know the risks involved. They know what they're doing. And it's not like they're going in there with phone torches. And stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? The bare minimum. They're actually going in there with some. As you said, he's got a gas meter and stuff. So he's got more than your average Joe takes.
Yeah, I mean, Dan was the first person actually in a while I'd seen wearing a helmet down the caves, and I thought, cool, man, because it doesn't look cool.
Banging his head.
It doesn't look cool to be wearing a helmet, but it's actually a lot cooler than banging your head. That's
at the end of the day, if people want the content, they've got to put up with the silly costumes. I wear an all-in-one bright red condom suit now. Do you know what I mean?
And that's where I was going to go too. I mean, a lot of the reason that people watch is let me watch this idiot do this, or
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like not
They-
idiot in a
They
bad way,
want to
but
see
you know,
us like get taken away in an ambulance at the end of the day. The
Yeah.
more ambulance and injury, the more happy the viewers are. But I mean,
well,
it's not the point though, because it's not why it's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to challenge myself on just scaring myself going down these locations. I don't want to end up injured. But
Right.
I suppose eventually, you know, we're going to learn the hard way. So what we're trying to do here is not teach people to suck eggs, but just say, you know, did you realize? Did you realize? And so what this guy is saying, Husky's hobbies, right? Do you feel? So that's why we're doing this video basically, because people said that we needed to kind of, you know, buck our ideas up. So it's like, okay, well, we'll bring some people on who know what they're talking about, and this is what it's about. So, okay, Husky's hobby says, do you feel about people saying you're responsible for getting these places sealed up and showing them how you get in? Well, all I can say is that that place is known as the Copper Mines in Coniston Lakes. It's on Wikipedia, it's on Google. If you're looking in that area, it's. And did you see any gates stopping us going in? Did you see padlocks required? You're straight in there. Now, if we're smelling those gases, there's a possible danger. So therefore, it's not like a mine that should just be open for everybody if there's a danger.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is. Because the thing is, they're not expecting just everybody to walk all the way up there and do what we did. Yeah, they're just not expecting most people. You'd have to wade through water, so that's an immediate no for most people. It's like nope. So we had waders, so we went past that barrier. Then we went over these big cliffs, you know, and it's like, so that's a lot of people like no, you know. So we've crossed that barrier. Then we're going deep. Then we got the gases. You see, now it's like, how far do you keep going and pushing yourself until actually it becomes a problem and you don't come back? So. I'm all up for this stuff. I'm in, like, you know, I'm not a great cave person because I find them a bit samey, but I'm up for a challenge, you know. But if I've learnt something from it, it's like, you know, I want to know whether I'm safe. I've never used this puppy here. See I probably should have spent my money for the amount of times I've used it. I got a Geiger counter, right? I should have invested this money in an oxygen meter because it would have been used 100 times more than this puppy has, you know.
A floor gas meter, not just an oxygen meter.
Yeah, 4 gas meter. There we are. You know, but yeah, I mean, it would have been much more useful. But the thing is, I'm into safety gear, but it's just like if I know I need it, it's like I bought this thing, like a PLB for like if I'm going out like on the boat, so if the shit happens, I can push the button and the emergency services know exactly from a GPS location where I
That's
am.
something you really need to.
You know, it won't work underground, but if you're above ground or in the sea or like in the Antarctic, this thing will work. So I'm into safety gear. I am totally and utterly into the concept of safety. I bought myself a £300 dry suit, which Dennis is probably going to giggle at now. Like he's going to go, £300? 300? You paid £300? He'd be like, £30,000 I bet this guy's paid for a bloody proper suit. Because,
Yeah, it's about it's $5 to $6 grand for a good chemical resistant one.
yeah. With like heat pipes going in so you can pump hot water in to keep him.
Nope.
No?
Just for a dry suit.
But don't you have to
You're
have
going to be using. You don't use hot water in a dry suit. You use it in a
wetsuit?
wetsuit. Yeah.
Ah. So dry suit's good enough when you're when you're. Did you used to use dry suits when you were doing your?
It depends what we were doing. When I'm diving in the Gulf of Mexico, I might just be in a pair of shorts. You know, just depends on what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, there's times you have to use hot water because you're going to lose all feeling in a couple of seconds, and dry suits are a good intermediate thing, you know, in between. So, and dry suits are great when you want to go somewhere after you're done working and you don't want to have to go. You just want to get undressed. I've gotten undressed with dress clothes under a dry suit. If it was like something quick, they needed me to go down and do a quick inspection, and I was going to go out afterwards. You just put your dry suit on right over your clothes, and then you come out and you're good to go.
Halloween Kieran has just subscribed. Thank you for that. By the way, you can click the subscribe button, and it doesn't cost you a penny. It's all free. But just to finish off this point then. So how do you feel about saying, are we responsible for getting these places sealed up when we're showing them? Well, I don't, these places are there. We're not showing people exactly, we're popularizing it, but we're not showing people how to get into things that otherwise aren't just wide open. But I do agree it might be slightly irresponsible for everyone to go there. If they watch our videos, I would give a big disclaimer. Don't think you can do this, just because you've seen us do it, because a lot of people are not sure-footed. They're cag-handed, they're cag-footed, and they would just fall straight down over the edge of stuff and not even know what the hell's hit them, And you got like a couple of 100 feet falls, and you would just roll and smack your head on the way down. You'd be dead, It's like, and I would hate to think anybody would try and replicate what we're doing, thinking it's fun. So therefore, this is kind of like a follow-up video to say, and this is maybe what we did wrong and where we need to think about it for the future. So as an addendum to what we've done, because it would be irresponsible of us to say, hey, look how easy this is, folks. Everybody should try this. Hey, look, it's great. Because it is serious business, It's like underground. There are things that you don't encounter in a haunted house or in your average just place where you can fall through the floor and you break your leg and then they'll come and get you. It's like there are things that are going on which are just next level of danger and complication, and even trying to find you would be a problem. So, it's one of those.
I think Matty went poof.
Matty went poof. Hey, Matt, you went poof. You poof. You poofed on us, Matt. You poofed. He'll probably come up again in a minute. So, some mines have explosive gas, some don't. What do you think about that then, Dennis? Christy said some mines have explosive gas, some don't. Matt talked a little bit about this. So what do you think then? If you're kind of like a pundit, you're like, some do, some don't. But which do, which don't? How would you know if you were an inexperienced caver? Because I didn't know the difference between Josh. So Cody, Josh. Steve Ronin told me. He said there's a difference between slate mines and copper mines in the dust and how dangerous it is to you. Like breathing it in.
Yeah, it's organics are the big thing. If you're in a mine that has wood cribbing, if you're in a coal mine, that's where you're going to get the hydrogen sulfide.
What does cribbing mean? Sorry,
sorry, the wood timbered mines.
You mean the things that are holding up the props? The props.
Yeah, like what you said the other day that they use for to keep an eye on whether or not the face wall is moving.
And is that correct? Am I correct in that assertion?
That is correct. Yeah. They use that to judge. You actually you read the timber and see if the face wall has moved at all.
Yeah, see whether it's bending
or
whether it falls out.
The side wall.
Yeah, if it falls out, it's moved away. If it's bent in and cracked, it'll be, you can tell. And if you hear it cracking, run.
Yeah, and it's basically used for movement, so you can just it's just like a guidepost just to let you know what's going on with the mine. I think I have actually.
He has a diagram.
I don't know if I printed that one out or not.
Yeah. So what about some mines have explosive gas, some don't? So you're saying organic mines.
That's going to be the most dangerous, but you always assume
but aren't
that
all mines organic? Because people say like, well, organic. What do you mean by organic? Because like every mine is organic because they're all created in the ground, so it's all organic.
I'd never go in any mine without the proper air monitoring equipment. You don't know that it could be dead air in a mine that doesn't have hydrogen sulfide in it. It could just have no oxygen in it. So you never know. You need to be alerted if something like that is happening.
Now, I heard somebody the other day, and he said, I went down one of these mines like you went down, and he said, but we went down there and we had oxygen bottles, like scuba gear on us, and we were like breathing the whole way down. And I'm like, no, that sounds like too extreme, That's
that's just
That sounds like they should have had their warning meter things to warn
Exactly.
them, and then
It sounds like they were scuba diving without water.
yeah, they were scuba diving without water. It sounds like they should have like had these meters, and then if their meters went off, then you put the gear on, because then you're just wasting oxygen otherwise, you know. So you
Yeah.
put them on when there's a problem, you know. You don't put them on before there's a problem.
I was going to print out the timbering one, but I forgot. I thought you'd find it interesting.
But that's just me guessing. Again, I don't know what I'm talking about, and we accept no responsibility for anybody's death or from whatever you've heard in tonight's program. Some people are certified, but again, we can't accept responsibility for anybody listening to this information, because without the training, some of it'll sink in, not all of it's going to sink in, and American and British standards of training might be different. Who knows?
Exactly, and that's why I'm trying to do it by the book, and that's why it sounds like, you know, he's saying, I don't want to put people off, but I'm not gonna tell you the wrong way to do it either, and what, you know, I'm gonna tell you what you need to be aware of and what equipment you need, you know, and the saying for a mine is stay out, stay alive. I mean, that's the best guidance you can use, but people that explore aren't going to follow that guidance. So it's
That's
all
it.
your acceptable risk. Everybody has an acceptable level of risk, and what is yours?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, Lucifer says you need to write on the map, follow me, just in case you forget you're in a mine. David Clark, hello. Yes, how are you doing, sir? What are we? Barbara Ridding has a good point. She says this is very interesting, because I mean we're going at this like complete amateurs, which of course we're not complete amateurs. I mean, some of us are, but yeah, some of us aren't.
Yeah.
As I said in the video, I said we've got literally a week of Explore experience amongst us. We're not like these 1 hour or 1 day Explorer. We've got a week's worth of Explore experience under our belt. Which
Give me one word, Matt. If I go Reaper, I'm coming after you first. I'm going to haunt you for the rest of your living years.
Okay, there you go. I'm scared now, a bit more than I was with that other.
Well, you're not Reaper, so don't worry.
Stalker that was after me recently. Yeah. Mm. Barbara Ridding says this is very interesting, but she says slate mines are lethal, which is what Josh said. He said like slate mines apparently are like woo, you know.
I don't know anything about those. We don't have those. We just have anthracite mines around here. That's all I really ever learned about.
Yeah, I mean, like Josh was saying that slate mines produce a certain type of dust, which is really bad for you. It's like, you know, on par with not anthrax, no anthrax. What was it? Asbestos. It's copper mines and like low risk but still bad. Asbestos obviously is bad, but that's, you don't find that in mines. But you've got slate mines are pretty bad apparently. Oh, sorry.
Well, they do mine.
Matt's waiting there. Actually, I didn't realize he was waiting. Hey, mate.
They do mine.
How do you-
asbestos.
Yeah.
Dan just told you to check your phone, Matty.
Danny told me to check my phone.
Yeah,
Hi, DJ Paul.
Okay.
he's just put it in the chat.
Oh, did he? I'm still like half an hour up the chat, so I haven't worked my way down yet. Let's have a look what Danny's been saying. Danny's saying it's got nothing to do with you, bitch. You sluts can come down with me, and you will follow me because I am I'm the cave master. No, he didn't say that. Actually, he said I'll pop on your stream for 5 minutes. Ooh, if I want to invite him. Hang on. Ooh. Legend status coming.
Well, at least he can stick up for himself now.
Legend status. I'm sorry, Dan. I didn't realise. And I didn't realise Matt was waiting there as well. I'm shit. The thing is, people are texting me all the time. They go, ping. And it's like, I don't know. I need to have one that goes ping, 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 which is like, that's really important, not just ping. Ping. Because they're all as important. Every ping is as important as the next ping. Yeah, so
Well, your phone constantly goes off when you're doing live videos as well, doesn't it? Everyone wants to speak to you when you're doing live.
everybody's telling me things, but I'm like, how important is it? I've told them.
We'll get Donna or Gail to
ring
call
me.
you
If it's really important, ring me. And then you see me go like, oh no, somebody's ringing me. This must be important. And it usually is. Yeah, it usually is. Yeah, right. You can see how it goes. It's like, oh no, I can only do one level of chat at a time. Sorry. So let's see whether Dan gets that. And Luke has sent me a message halfway through the thing. Should we listen?
Start living it up.
Should we listen to his private message and see whether he reveals? We shouldn't really do this, but.
Hi mate, how you doing? On the camera I gave back to you, did I leave a square attachment on it for the mics?
Yes, you did actually. Yes,
Anyway.
you did. I was wondering whether that belonged to me. No, you did. You left a square attachment on there that belongs to you. So yes, you did. So, right, what did you say? Slate mines are lethal. My daughter is in South Snowdonia Mountain Rescue, and urges...
Legend.
Oi. Please, ladies and gentlemen, take a deep breath. Bow your heads, and close your eyes, and prepare to pray. Prepare to pray, because, guess what?
Happy?
Exploring with Fighters is in the house.
Yo,
Oh,
I'm trying to pull myself up.
you?
Yo, what's up, everyone?
How would you, mate?
He's pulling himself
Yeah,
up.
not too bad.
You can't do that on a live stream, mate. It's bloody standards. You can't pull yourself up
Anything's
on a live
possible on
stream.
your lives, mate.
No, I've been watching the whole live stream, and I thought it was super educational. And I think it's something we need to start definitely looking into more safety gear.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like we like to have a laugh and we like to mess around and we like to wear silly things like this that people have like bought us. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to see anyone get injured from what we're doing, because we just run in there, don't we? We're just gung ho lunatics. But I'd rather be like, if I'm gonna carry an AK-47. I'd rather like learn how to load it and like, you know, yeah, rather than just grab one and just run in places and just shoot everybody accidentally. I'd rather have some training. Yeah. He's frozen.
I mean, that's a good way of putting it.
He's frozen. I thought he was just being. I thought he was like Dan is just like this.
That's a good pose to freeze in there.
He's just like, Mr. Williams, I'm not having this. He's moving
No,
again now. He's moving again.
I said that's a good way to put it.
You know, it's like you're never gonna win like by just running in and just like killing yourself all the time. It's like if you're playing a game, if you're just running and killing yourself, it's going to take you a long time. You'll probably get there in the end, but like, you know, real life, you haven't got extra lives. So, oh, he's gone. Oh dear.
His internet can't be too good. That's why he froze.
Here he is again. Here he is. He's
Sorry,
there.
I'm terrible. I've never really used this before. I'm terrible at it.
Really?
Yeah, I've never used StreamYard before.
Well, see, all your buddies, like Mr. Carl uses it all the time, so I would have thought...
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, my God, I can't believe that. You haven't used it. You watch now,
Well,
right? You watch. He's going to be using this next week all the time. He's going to be like, look how cool this is. This is the coolest.
Maybe. What I do want to say is I had an influx of comments on my video.
Hate?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say
Where's that coming from?
I don't know.
I'm guessing we got posted on a caving forum.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what it was.
Yeah, I've seen the picture of the dragon's eye put up on the North Wales Cavers page.
See, now the problem is with the forums is I joined the forum about a year ago, and I went on there and asked for some advice, and I got foul mouthed off the forum. It wasn't 28 days. It was another caving
28. You got 28 days off really quick.
No, but I asked for advice, and they don't want to give the advice. But then they'll see you doing these videos, and then they'll come over and they'll just nothing but give you hate, saying what you're doing wrong, how dare you do this, and it's like, well, how about you come and educate us a little bit? I mean, at the end of the day, we have been doing this for a while. I've done over 100 mines in 2 years, mines and caves around the world. I am no expert. I'm just experienced. I trust my own ability in maneuvering around these caves, but I'm still uneducated on some of the surroundings. Like I was listening to you guys talking about, you know, water and what might be lying below it. Could it be a sinkhole? Could it, you know, there's a lot of things we don't know. And education is something that we are
Can I butt
lacking.
in a minute,
And I'd appreciate it if they came over and actually said, you know what, guys, you're doing this wrong. How about I'll show you a proper way? I'd be like, yeah, of course.
I've seen somebody on Matt's post yesterday calling you an idiot because you were saying about a sinkhole. Now, I'm guessing that there was what you were saying is basically a hole full of water, like he was going on about earlier, where you can cross, and it can be a 30, 40 foot drop of water underneath it. It is kind of a sinkhole. So I get what you were saying there, and I don't get why people are calling you idiots for that. Obviously, they don't know what you're on about when you're saying that.
Oh no, I was calling it sinkhole because the thing with the copper mines is when the copper mines collapse, they basically just go around it. They either go over it or around it. They don't bother tunneling it back out. They just go around it. So when you're in some of these tunnels in the copper mines, there's most likely going to be tunnels underneath you. And if you're stepping in water, the water's weakened the floor, and you'll go through numerous levels, which, I call it a sinkhole. You know,
a lot of the mines that you guys are going into, like the metal mines, obviously, as you probably know, over the years, they work on certain levels inside these big stopes and work their way up. And on each stope, they build a false floor, and on that false floor, eventually, the wood will give way eventually.
Yeah. But it's funny how they're quick to judge. But most of the time, it's jealousy. You know, they don't want. They don't mind if they were in our positions where they was making money by going out having fun with their friends in caves and stuff, equipment or not. They wouldn't be doing the same. They wouldn't be complaining. You know, it's
straight up.
I just wish they'd come over and actually, put in some advice and some guidance.
Well, the thing is, you make a good point there, because I mean, like, I've seen people fly in aircraft that don't have a pilot's license and never been trained, right? And they've been flying for like 30 years, and everyone knows they've not got a license, and everyone just carries on going like, oh, yeah, this is just John over there in his aircraft. And then we hear all the reports of what's gone wrong later on, and we all like go, you know, because it's like they're flying through military airspace. They're scrambling jets to, like, you know, intercept them and things like this, and they're getting back home and they're going, oh, I heard they were coming after me, and I was like, oh shit, and we all go, if only they had a bit of training. Just a little bit of training, they wouldn't be so scared, because they're going up there and they're dicking about and causing all this trouble, and just a little bit of training would help. So the thing is, like I said to a couple of these people, it's like, well, go and have just go and have a couple of lessons, like, you know, what's the problem, like, you know, why are you so anti having a couple of lessons? Because these people are actually scared. When they're up there flying on their own, they're scared that they were doing the wrong thing, and they were doing the wrong thing. Why? My point is, I'm not anti lessons, but I am anti snobbery. Yeah, I'm anti like, you know, oh, you wankers and all this sort of stuff. That pushes people away, like as if, oh, I don't want to hang around with them, because they're just looking down on me, like as if I'm rubbish, you know. So the thing is, when people like start going like, you're an idiot, screw you, you know, that doesn't help, because we're all interested. I'm interested in what these people have got to say, but it's put across the wrong way. What you want to say is, that's a really good video, but did you know there are gases? And I would go, no, what gases? And they'd go, well, here's a page, have a look at this. Yeah. And it's like, what you don't go is, you don't go like, you wankers, you don't know what you're on about. And then I say, well, tell me. And they go, no, you're just a bunch of wankers. So it's like, they're just wankers. It's like, that doesn't bring people into the fold. Because if you want to bring people in for teaching, don't frighten them. Don't frighten them away. Yeah, because, you know, a lot of people would just be like, oh, you know, and they'll just not want to do that. They'll either stop doing it or they'll keep doing it the wrong way, you know.
And a lot of
that's
people
what's happened.
Invite people in, you know, invite them, you know, say like, look, I tell you what, we're doing a free day, or we're doing a basic awareness day. It's not going to cost you anything. We're just like, you know, or something like that, you know. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's not going to cost you any money. Just come down and, you know. But what
I've learned, Matty, from getting involved with other caving clubs up in Wales and North Wales, is other cavers hate other cavers.
Right.
I don't know why, but they all just hate each other. They don't want to give out any information. They don't want to let nobody else know about the places they're going to look. It's the same with YouTubers and exploring locations.
Is it like a
they just don't want to give out their thing.
We have grottos, they're called here, and I was part of the Northern New Jersey grotto, and people would lock up keys, and you'd have to try and get the keys from like the Philadelphia grotto, and be asses about it. And Yeah, and every grotto was better than every other grotto. I never seen. It was almost as bad as horses. I don't know if I've been around a lot of people with horses, but it was like that.
I was watching a video earlier on about horses, and they were going, "What's the most expensive liquid on the planet?" And they were going, "It was horse semen." So I was watching. These are the videos I watch on YouTube. No, it was literally a video about all the most expensive things on the planet, and they were talking about saffron, these plants, and sort of like flowers, and then they went, well, what's the most expensive liquid on the planet? They went, it was horse stuff and horse things, because they said it literally a gallon of it would be like 40 million pounds.
It depends on the thoroughbreds.
Yeah,
or where those prices come from, the racing horses.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's like
also printer ink.
Do you know what people hate? They hate this information going out on the internet as well, because it's like this. The internet is like this explosion of information. Like hey, look at this interesting thing. So we're like, Dan is saying, look, there's exciting stuff to go and do. But with knowledge, it's sort of like with power, or sort of like Superman. With power becomes responsibility, but with knowledge, Spider-Man. With spider venom comes tentacles. So you need to realize that if you want those tentacles, you've got to have the venom. No, you've got to have the knowledge to have the something like that. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say I've had too much beer. What I'm saying is, no, I haven't. What I'm saying is, it's great fun, and we do watch. I watch Ali Law, but I'd never go on the edge of a building like dancing along like that, because I just fall off. I'd slip, I'd fall off. It's like I wouldn't even try it. But caves, they seem like they're a bit more an easy target. Like, it's just a cave. It's just a cave. What the hell? It's just a cave. Everyone doesn't go down there because they're too much of a baby. But maybe there's a bit more to it than that.
It's pet show and tell now.
Yeah, Bubba.
Yeah, Matt Fudge, Fudge said she misses you.
Oh, Fudge. You could sleep on my bed. You could sleep on my bed with me. You could come on my bed every night.
Yeah, she definitely misses you, Matt. Oh. She said you're the favourite to ever come round. She prefers you over Josh and Steve Ronan.
Oh, well, I give you bits of my food. Only little bits because I don't want you to get fat. But yeah, I'll give you bits.
Right, guys, I'm going to make a move anyway, but I just wanted to pop in and just say my little piece.
Well, no, thanks, Dan. I mean, but you've got some equipment. You were the first person in our group who I actually saw wearing a hard hat, and I was like, it's like weird because you're almost like it's almost like you were breaking away from the kind of like, we don't wear hats because we're cool, and then you sort of like started wearing a hard hat, and I was like, whoa, it don't look cool, but then. I'm like, but then again,
you just had enough of the cut heads.
Hey Dan, before you go,
yeah,
they're asking if Josh is still in the UK or if he had left.
No, he's not. He flew out it was about 4 days ago. I think it was the 16th. He flew out.
He was lucky to get in with what's going on, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he was in before lockdown, so it wasn't like a problem. But to be honest, it's work related, so.
Yeah,
just writes it off as work related.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's the UK. So Josh was telling me that in America things are so different. Like they take this so seriously. So when he got here, he couldn't believe how relaxed we all were. But I kind of explained to him that with the second lockdown, people are just had enough and fed up. And it's not so much of the virus, but it's more of the government guidelines and the decisions they've made. It's been kind of ridiculous. It's kind of been a shit show, where you can't go and see your families, you can't go and see your dying family, but you can go to the pub with your mates and have a few drinks at night till 10 o'clock. It was just an absolute shit show. So that's why people in the UK were just kind of like, oh, I've had a fucking enough. So Josh was super surprised at it all.
Yeah.
But it's Matt as well. I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to come and explore yesterday. I wasn't due to go on explore for another couple of weeks. So I was taking time off.
I heard about your loss, and I'm very sorry to hear about your loss.
Yeah, so I didn't want to because obviously I was taking time out for family and stuff. But then I ended up out last night. I think I got home about 4 o'clock in the morning. It was a mansion I couldn't pass up, but yeah, I'm not going to be out exploring for another couple of weeks yet. I'm just going to take some family time off.
But hey, you know, that's the thing with exploring is it's like it's a good way to get your mind off crap.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it is true.
But when you've had a bereavement as well, it's sometimes not a good idea to go on the road. So what they told us with flying is like you don't go flying if you've had a bereavement or there's something really big on your mind. Don't go flying because you won't be noticing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Anyway, guys, thanks for having me on.
See you later,
No, thanks, Dan. But seriously,
Yeah,
though,
see you later.
seriously, before you go, even though when I saw you with your sort of like bike hat on, I was like, yeah, that.
No, mine was a Pretzel one.
Petzl. Yeah.
Yeah, Petzl. Was it Petzl Strata or something like that it was called?
Yeah. They don't look ultimately cool, but you were the only one doing it. Yeah. And like now, when I go down a cave, if I've got it with me, I'm always going to wear that hat. Yeah. So maybe we'll set an example for people and just say, look, it don't look cool, but do you know what? We don't like our heads being bruised up and cut and slashed. So.
I don't know.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, I've got a large following of youngsters, and they want to start. I've read the comments, and they want to start doing it now. So that was the moment I was like, right, more than a helmet. It's time to start taking it seriously. You know, because obviously I value my own life, but I have massive confidence in my own abilities. But when obviously we've got to.
But we're influencing people that look, hey, look, this is how we go down. We do this shit with no safety. We're cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I think it's time we change.
Yeah, we're gonna have to say to people like, don't.
If you boys start using safety gear, you can start seeing so much more. You can start pushing yourself further and further because you'll feel safer because you've now got the gear to go further than you were able to go with just your bodies, which you were pushing to the limits as it was.
Well, it's funny because before lockdown, I actually booked me and my dad's scuba diving lessons because I was going to start doing scuba diving so I can start doing more exploring when I go around the world, different oceans stuff. I wanted to, when I go back to Japan, I want to go and see the pyramids under the water. But I also want to do, lessons on caving and setting up harnesses and being able to ascend and descend. And
whenever you want to do it, I've got plenty of spare gear, and I'm more than happy to teach you. Matt, I've said this plenty of times, man. Whenever you want to do it, I'm more than happy to show you guys. I'll take you to the Bridge of Death and take you onto the actual real Bridge of Death.
Not the Bridge of Death. Not that place again.
Yeah, finally cracked it. It took me 7 or 8 goes at it to get to the actual wooden Bridge of Death itself, but yeah, it was worth it.
I know this guy called Dylan, Matt, right? And if you're really interested, right, he can put a parachute on your back, and you can jump off the Bridge of Death, and 1, 2, 3, and pull the parachute, and just like.
It's not actually that far down, Matty. I thought it was a lot further, but when you get there, it's only like 50 foot down, and you're in water.
Okay. But thank you.
I'll avoid the base jumping underground.
Yeah.
Right, guys, I'm gonna get shooting.
Thank you.
Yeah, look after yourself, mate.
See you later.
Something to bear in mind.
See you later, guys.
Dan says be safe. Dan says be safe. So yeah. Right, Dennis. What did you pick up from any of that then? Anything?
Say that again. I was trying to follow some of the chat too.
Yeah.
You
were dog wrestling a minute ago. Yeah.
UPS came and he was going nuts. But I think Dan would be. If Dan got into rope work, I think he'd really enjoy it, and it would open up, like you said, a lot of possibilities for him.
Well, it does, doesn't it? Because I mean, once you're confident that like there's somewhere you can't get to, but now you can get to a whole new level of what you've been looking at. Because we walked over layers of places that, if you fell down, it would be fatal. But if you rope down, it's going to be quite interesting. You're going to get to whole new levels of the caves that nobody's ever seen.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
But that's definitely when you need the gas detector.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, going down.
You need that the moment you step into mine.
Yeah.
So let's have a little look, and because I'm way behind on what people have been saying in the chat room, so let's have a look.
Someone did put in the chat as well, Matty, earlier about our little discussion about caving clubs. He put it's a club thing. That's why caving clubs hate other caving clubs. I'm guessing it's a club thing.
Well, there's different standards. Like different clubs have different ways of doing things, and they're like, "Oh, we don't like that club because we'd rather you be in our club." And ultimately,
I think with Wales, certain clubs own certain mines, don't they? Like Carmarthen,
right?
That is owned obviously by, is it Dark Places or something like that? They've got like a little underground bit. They do tours now, aren't they, in North Wales? So that's another good thing. If people want to get into caving, there is actually places like Carmarthen. You can actually pay £20 to go out there and be taught, like taken round by somebody that will actually show you the basics of a slate mine and how to navigate it.
There you go.
You can also go to caves that you can't get into otherwise as well. That they're keyhole.
Yeah, well, that's what Carmarthen is. It's keyed entry. You won't get in there without the key and the owner to let you in there, basically. And when they go in there, they'll give you a guided tour of the place with climbing gear and teach you how to use it and go around. So it's good for, and I think they do all ages as well. So even young kids, so people with families with younger children can take their kids along if they want to get their children into it, like teenage years, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and it's
They
like
might be younger.
It's like flying. You can go and have a trial lesson, fly an aircraft. You get your hands on the controls. It's only going to cost you like £30, you know, but you get your hands on the controls. You'll actually have a go. And it's like, it's to just kind of introduce you to the fact that there is this big world out there. If you want to kind of get into it, this is what's out there. And they'll teach you the basics. And it's like, give you a little few tricks. But, you know, yeah. You
Good
know,
way to meet people too.
It is, because then you think to yourself, well, actually, I could be part of that club, but I could go back and I could try again, and you know, I could better myself in that way. And it's not necessarily, it's not like exams at school. It's like literal practical things, like, can I climb down this rope? Can I use this, you know, technique? You know, it's good fun.
Hand ascender and a Petzl ID is all you need, man. The footloop, fly up and down them all day long.
Yeah. And what he said there, which was indecipherable, like, you know, sort of German language, was I think, you know, you can get ropes and you can tie them, or you can put them in certain ways that you can use your feet to ascend.
A Prusik, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've used a Prusik once in my life, like a proper Prusik, and yeah.
But
I
yeah,
haven't got the same face in it as I have my Petzl gear.
Let me ask you something, Matty, because we have something here. We call it, when we ascend, we use something called a European frog. Do you use a frog system there? Or
It is kind of like a frog system. What you're on about is you're on about a crawl on the foot, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you're on about rope walking.
Yeah.
So obviously, when I done SRT, they took us into a cave to teach us. They did teach us rope walking, which is ascending with basically hands free.
Right.
So you're just on your waist and your feet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really get along with that anymore. I use a hand ascender clipped onto the rope with a foot ascender, and then I just straight pulley it through there and throw a pulley off the hand ascender and back down. So I've got a 2-to-1 on the pulley as well, and it just slip up and down it.
Yeah. So you got to get the in of the out to get up into the out sphincter of the Schwangenschlangen, the Wankel engine, and you push, put a pump,
getting down the easy part.
Yeah. Then and only then will you know the truth. Yes.
Oh yes.
Mm.
Also,
sounds complicated, but if you're shown it, it makes perfect sense. But I mean, it's like,
yeah, it's easy.
This is
it's very easy.
It's really easy stuff. If you're shown, you go, wow.
I managed to teach Living at Urban how to ascend and descend within about 2 minutes.
Mm.
Yeah, Matty will appreciate this. It's not the fall that ever kills anybody when they're in a cave. It's just a sudden stop at the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least when I go, I'll be slightly, you know, it'll be slightly easier because I will be protected by the can of 4 beers. Yeah. So you guys will all be squirming around going like, but I will have my 4 beers, which will have protected me. So
you can tell Matt's on his 4th beer because we only have half
4
the head
beers
anymore.
Yeah. Can I have 4 beers? Yeah.
4 beers and half a head.
Mm. So
right, another quick thing then, Dennis, I want to drop in there is navigating a mine.
Oh, navigating.
because that's one thing that a lot of people are going to struggle with if they're new to exploring a mine, is how to navigate it. And I don't know if the Americans use the same as the British cave rescue, but I'm pretty sure the British always go to the end of a passage, take the right end of the
We always
passage.
go to the right. Yep.
Yeah.
Go to the right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the
If
same
you always
thing.
go to the right, you can always find your way back out by going to the left.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I thought that was something we need to stick in there, Matty, just so people know.
Well, yeah, you can navigate any maze by going left forever.
Yeah, but some people just will go in and go straight at it, wouldn't they? You're not boxes.
You can
right,
get
when
lost in
you're
the
at the
smallest
start.
area too, like, and just keep
Yeah.
going in circles. Especially when you don't have, especially if it's a big space like a dome room or something like that, where your light doesn't penetrate. You can get lost real easy and just keep going in circles in the smallest of spaces. Especially if it was a squeeze to get in somewhere, you'll never find the squeeze back out. Which is more cave than a mine, but
Okay,
Yeah.
we've been going like hell for leather into terminology and things. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be listening to this and go like, "Whoa, what the hell?" But it's like, okay, I'm just going to be the devil's advocate here and the pundit here and say, all right then, let's roll it back. Somebody has done what we were talking about earlier on. Remember, they've gone into this area, they've smelt this sulfur, and they've now got a little bit like toxic, in their system. So they are not smelling anymore. They like, oh, what would be the symptoms? Are there any symptoms that people could
Yeah,
kind
you
of...
start to feel drunk. You start to feel a little bit dizzy, lightheaded.
Yeah. How would you know if you've screwed up? How would you know if you've gone too
well, that's
far?
the problem. Is it has a narcotic effect, so you probably won't.
And you
No, you wouldn't.
is it like when you're flying, when if you haven't got enough oxygen, you actually feel really good.
Right.
You
Yeah,
feel happy. You're like, hey, I'm really good, until boom, you're gone. Is it like that? Is it, or is it, or do these gases?
I'd say it's different, Matty, because when I've had it, like in that one in Wales, like I started to get headaches and started to feel really heavy-headed from it.
Ah,
So,
that's what I was going to say, because
yeah.
when
Those are signs, but once it starts affecting your nerve system, you're going to lose things of headaches and pains and that sort of thing too.
Yeah,
Once
if that
it gets
goes
too
away,
far
that's when
back.
it becomes dangerous, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the headaches and that go away, but you're still in the same sort of area, you're in grave danger at that point.
So if one person is down a mine going like, oh, I'm not sure about this, boys, I've got a headache.
All I'd say is never go alone. That's rule. That is the major like if there's a key point, don't ever go alone. Simple as that. Never go alone.
Major thing while I think of it is always tell somebody where you are.
Yes.
Yeah, that's rule 101 really, though.
Yeah.
You always, that was one of the things they told me with these things, like always tell somebody where you are and tell them a time you're expected to be out, because it can narrow down the rescue a lot if people know which mine you're in and which way you were going.
When you're expected to be out, right?
Yeah. Because there are people who are specialized in that mine. They could whiz through there, like, these particular mines, Matt and Craig and Luke are very expert in. I used to be more years ago expert in these, but these days,
all I'll say is I've just got to give thanks to Diggers for that. He was the one who taught me the way. He literally taught me the routes in that place. And as far as Diego goes, he's the man for that place. He knows everything there is. Like even I pulled him out and gone, what's down there? And he's gone, well, if you go right to the bottom, go left, go right, there's another this down there. And it's like, let's go and have a look then. So he took me down there, and that's completely off the main routes and that. So he's probably explored that place. He does know where he's going.
Sure. So okay.
And he's the only other person as well to take me to the second red door.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that one.
So okay, then you've got people that kind of like know places, and then you've got people that don't know places. I'm just trying to think, like, train of thought. So all right, then you're going into places that aren't necessarily mapped. You don't know where you are. You're kind of exploring around things. New territory, and people tend to get like scared and freaked out in environments like that. I found people a lot of the time.
is in that situation is just try and stay confident, stay alert, stay aware of your surroundings, and just try and pay as much attention as you can.
Yeah.
And only go in as far as you feel comfortable the first time.
Yeah.
Then go back to it. Hit that for like the place you got to the first time. Like when I done the Bridge of Death, we didn't go in through Corris Mine, the main way that people go, and we went through Rosith. So we've gone up past Carmarthen, up to the top of the hill, and gone in through the back way. Now, I had no idea that Rosith is probably one of the hardest mines. And if there's anyone in the chat that's done the Crowser to Rosith through trip, will know this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Rosith, if you look at maps, Rosith is supposedly very easy. You come through like connecting mine to come out in Rosith mine to go to the entrance, basically. But it's not that simple. It's one of the hardest mines to navigate. And it took us probably 7 attempts to find the Chamber of Horrors to actually get to the Bridge of Death. 7 attempts. So we just kept working our way in, going further and further in each time, and just working our way to a certain point each point, and then next time get in there, rush back to that point and crack on from there. Like,
okay, all right then. What I'm sort of getting at is, say for instance, I mean, we could look at this from the point of view of like getting lost, which is what you're talking about, like getting lost, and how would you deal with that? I mean, my way of looking at this was you can actually buy this really cheap packing. Well, it's not. It's like material that you use for boxing up parcels for birthday parties. It's very thin material. It's very twine, yeah, but it's like a flat twine. And you can buy 500 meters of this for £2.50. So you can get like 2 kilometers for like, you know, like a tenner for £10. And you could just, this stuff, you will never ever pull this apart.
I know exactly what stuff you're on about, Matty.
It's yellow.
Bristol.
Right.
Oh, you talking about the
You passed me the big reel of it in Bristol.
I've got it. I was going to
Redcliffe
say.
Caves.
Yeah.
That's
Look.
That's it, yeah, Redcliffe Caves.
It's literally designed for putting on parcels or like birthday presents and just like wrapping stuff up, you know.
Oh,
it's actually quite strong as well.
But this stuff, right? Ooh, it's
No,
strong enough. It's strong enough.
You know what's even better than that? If you go to a home improvement store, you can get Mason's line.
Yeah.
You cannot break Mason's line, and it's just as small as that.
Yeah.
A roll that size would be 1,000 foot of Mason's line.
Yeah. Okay. So what you do is you just basically put a piece of wood through it, or a pencil or a pen or something. You just roll it out, you know, as you're going, and then you're guaranteed to be able to just work your way back out, because it's really simple. It's really simple. For £10, you can just roll this stuff out, and then it tells you which way to go back, because you can just and collect it up as you go back out. You know, just wrap it around your arm as you go back out.
I'd say in certain mines that'd be good. A lot of the big slate mines I've hit up in North Wales, I wouldn't like that'll get you into the entrance and a bit further down the main shafts and that, and into the actual workings. Yeah. But if you start going off the main workings, then you ain't gonna. Yeah,
you'd have to take we use that with diving a lot.
Dan was really confused when he went into the in Belgium, I think it was, the Maginot line. They went in.
Oh, that
right?
thing, yeah.
And they went in, and then everything, it was tunnels, and they all look the same, you know, which is how tunnels generally are. They kind of go in, you go, oh, I know where I am, and it's really cool. And it's like, and then when you get in there, they all look the same. And it's like, so had they had something like this, maybe, you know, just I'm not telling how to suck eggs, but had you had something like this, which is cheap, you know, and it's lightweight, and you could put it in a
definitely
backpack,
a good idea.
You know, look how small that is, yeah. You know, you could put
you could also set up markers at junction and use the items in the system as well. If there's a lot of rock and stuff like that, you could set up a triangle pointing with a stone leading off of it, as Lucy would say, a poop trail.
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of people leave their rocks on the floor in the wrong places. A lot of people will put them around corners and stuff where they're not going to see them on the way back in that. So I think that's like when Craig was out setting up things like that with us in the past, wasn't it? Like he'll walk along a little bit and then stop, turn around in the middle of a pathway and do it there, so he knows he can see it on the way back if he was walking back that way.
This is like Idiotville, you know. This is like Idiotville, you know. But ultimately,
it worked for us in Redcliffe Caves, didn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's not good. It's a no-brainer, you know. It's a no-brainer. This one.
The only thing is, you go 1,000 foot or whatever real quick. I mean, it's not hard to go that. you know, that far.
I'm trying to think now. Hang on. It's 1,000
Sorry,
feet.
Lucy's punching me.
I think it's more than that. This is 500 meters. Yeah.
So 1,500 feet.
So it'll be 1,500 feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, a few of these, 4 of these, is going to be a lot of distance. You know, it's going to be quite a long distance underground, and okay, you know, it's better than nothing. So it's up to you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Some people that I've seen recently have put pieces of aluminium foil. You know, like
Just take a piece of chalk.
Baco foil, and they
That really stands out.
It does, because your light will reflect off it, so it shines back at you. So they just tear a bit off, and a big roll of Baker foil, like 50 meters of Baker foil, you know, will just like, you just chuck it. You know, you can do that. That's another technique. You know,
another one is sidewalk chalk.
Sidewalk
trucks.
Sidewalk
Chalk. Like you draw on a chalkboard.
Chalk.
Yeah. Sorry, my New York accent.
Chalk. It's a chalk. It's a sidewalk chalk. Chalky chalk.
The car.
I want a big mark. Big mark for my chalk. Sorry. he's starting to smoke now. I was put him off, like.
But no, that's the trucks there too, like the big sticks of sidewalk chalk.
Yeah.
As you guys
Chalk.
like to say.
I want a chalk on the sidewalk. Yeah. Sorry. Chalk. A chalk. Sorry. Right. Yes. But things to think about, you know, like before you go, you could, if you know you're going, get some of this stuff, yeah. If you don't know you're going, you can just go into like Morrison's and pick up a thing of this silver foil, you know. It's better than nothing. It's like, if you know you're going, this is going to take it's a couple of pounds on eBay, yeah. But if you don't know you're going, then just turn up at Morrison's or a thing and just get some silver foil.
Well, I don't really do much anymore,
you know,
because of my back.
Yeah.
But you know, now I just do stuff in the command post, and then maybe I'll take an ATV on a task if they have one. But I always had bags in my truck that were always there for, you know, that would basically cover any gamut of issues. It's always good to have something. Also, a Mylar blanket or a space blanket is great to have, or a couple of them.
Yeah.
In case of an emergency. Yeah. So just a basic essentials kits for if I found somewhere I wanted to go, or, you know, in a cave or something like that. I'd always have something with me at a minimum. Oh, always 2 flashlights, extra batteries. Never go in with 1 flashlight.
If your flashlight has a bulb, take spare bulbs. That was the thing back in the day when they didn't have LEDs. When we got these maps originally, they just said, you know, Petzl lamp, make sure you got 2 extra bulbs, 2 extra batteries, you know. And
what you could do with the bulbs, to keep extra bulbs, this is our trick, when you have a incandescent type headlamp or something, the springs, they usually take like C batteries or something like that, a good powerful one. You can hold the spring where the battery goes and put the bulb inside the spring in each one, and then put the batteries back in, and they were always in the thing. We did it too with the mag lights. You can open the back where the big spring is. You can stick a bulb inside there as well.
So what you're saying is, when your bulb breaks, you've already got a bulb going.
No. You have them stored in the battery pack, so they're always there. Like you can put them in with the batteries.
Yeah. Okay, I got
inside the springs that hold, you know, the negative end of the battery.
Yeah. So you don't lose them, so you can't not find them in the bottom of your.
We were actually, whenever we did caves, we were carbide cavers. Are you the same way, Matty?
No. Like.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We used to always do carbide. That's all we ever used. I mean, we'd have flashlights for backup, but we just really enjoyed using the carbide lamps.
Well, they're quite powerful, aren't they, those carbide lamps? Yeah. But that's like professional gear, you know. It's.
I don't even think the professionals use carbide anymore, especially not in England anyway. Maybe over in America and such, but not in England.
Not for mines, but for caves.
Yeah. They might do. I'm not too much into my caves myself. It's more mines.
What I understood is that if you were using a torch, you'd have a spot of light, going around. But like the carbide was, you had to know where to get it, and you had to be professional and buy this stuff in advance. But if you put the carbide in, it was like boof, the whole thing was like lit up like daylight.
And it also didn't blind people when you looked at them with carbide, which was nice. It was like a glow rather than a bright light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you ever want
That's
to piss
so
a caver
annoying.
off? Look in his face with a headlamp
I
on.
know, like, since I started wearing helmets, that's all I get now. Is people walking past, like you smack down people's lights on the front of their helmets all the time.
Yeah. So, right, where was I going with this then? We sort of like ways to kind of navigate then.
I think somebody just put it in the chat as well. Like you always it's just to use the right rule. It's always just go right to the end of a passage. Go right.
Yeah. Okay. And what happens then? Right. Okay. So that was what I was coming to earlier on. So somebody has now become incapacitated with this gas, whatever that gas is.
If you're the friend and somebody drops, get out of there.
Right.
Yep.
What's the procedure?
Don't try and help. Don't try and help them, because otherwise you're literally just causing cave rescues to have another person they've got to try and get out of there then as well, and they're putting themselves in the same danger getting into these situations to get two bodies out instead of one now.
Exactly.
And
you're also
You're talking about the
succumbing to the same thing he is.
Clarkson rule, yeah?
literally, yeah.
Jeremy Clarkson's rule is correct. Yeah.
If a friend becomes a problem and is delaying you and causing you
get
issues, then you need to get out of there.
I've
Help
been
them as
on-
much as you can, but think about yourself first, because if you can get out of there, there's a chance you're going to get rescued and be able to get them out.
You might
I've
be able
been
to get
on-
them out, but if you hang around, that none of you'll get out. Yeah.
Well,
I've been
exactly.
on
And if you all drop, you're never going to be found.
Yeah, I've been on recoveries where somebody went into space with like hydrogen sulfide and passed out, and his friend went in to get him, passed out, and then another person went in to get him and passed out, and before you know it, everybody that was involved is dead in the cave, and you're going in and doing a recovery of all the bodies. You just got to get yourself back.
Yeah.
Get help.
As sad as it is.
I mean, sorry to ask this, but like, you actually did that. You got bodies out of caves.
A lot of different places, yeah.
Shit. There you go, folks.
Well, I did search and rescue for 30.
No, but this is the thing. See, I mean, it's like, it's one thing to say what we're talking about now. We're all having a bit of a giggle and like a drink, but this guy here has this guy here. How do I do this?
Where am I?
This guy here, there. Yeah. This guy here has dragged bodies out of caves.
Well, we put them in Stokes and carry them out, but yeah.
Shit.
It's the reality of it.
Yeah, this is serious shit. So we all like to have a joke about it, but it is pretty serious. I mean, like,
I've carried people out of caves as well, but you don't get the gases in the caves. It's in mines. I know I'm really specific about those two things, but I've never really had to pull people out of a cave for bad air. Only mines.
Yeah.
We don't have slate caves here, so I don't know if it's different where you are.
Yeah, that was another thing. My internet was off at the time, but yeah, somebody did put in the chat about slate dust. Now, I've done a lot of slate mines lately. I've had a lot of friends that have suffered where they're breathing after coming out of slate mines, and the more research I've done, and I'm not going to say I've looked up and I know exactly what it is, because I don't, but I've looked into it a tiny bit. Slate dust is very bad.
So that might count for where we were, the Dragon's Eye, then, because that was a slate mine. So
I've done a lot of recoveries too here, and this is kind of related but not related. In Pennsylvania, we have a lot of we had a lot of they're called robber mines or wildcat mines, and they're not mapped, and they'll put air vents into the surface that are hundreds of feet deep, and I can't tell you the amount of times I've had to go and recover bodies from the bottoms of these shafts. Somebody just walking through the woods and poop
pulled out
down a deep hole.
Thankfully, most of ours here are pretty much covered up. They've either been sealed up or they've got fences around them. Like, there's not a lot of open shafts that are just in forest.
And there's so many, and they're in the middle of of older forests, so there's a lot of floor cover, and yeah, people don't realize it, and they drop right down them.
Hey, chilling like a villain was actually saying exactly what you're talking about. If they fall down holes, they are dead, no questions. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the same when you're underground, though. If you fall down a pitch that you don't see in front of you,
Right.
it's the same thing.
Mm.
So, yeah, it might not necessarily be a hole on the surface, but there might be a hole underfoot that you haven't quite looked down and glanced at with your head torch or something quickly that you'll miss underfoot. That's why it's always a good idea never to rush.
Oh yeah, never.
Yeah.
You go step in a puddle and you don't realize that puddle is actually an adit or something. You know.
I am reading your comments. I'm not responding to all of them, but I am reading your comments. So yeah. But you know, this is it. It's like it's great to have fun. It's like me on a boat. You know, it's like it's great to have fun, but it's like, you know, try your best if you can to try and mitigate sort of bad circumstances. Now, I don't have these oxygen meters, yeah, and it's like I don't have that. But guess what I have got? I've gone and got myself a dry suit, which I didn't wear in Plymouth because Plymouth, everywhere we were going, was so close to shore and so close that we probably could have got recovered quickly. But when we were down in Portsmouth, because it was half an hour getting from A to B, you know, no way we were going to get recovered in a short amount of time. So I actually had a dry suit, but I was the only one because, of course, I paid for my dry suit, you know, and it's like I can't afford to pay £300 for every person on the boat. And I did warn them. I said, you know, you do realise, you know, I've got the dry suit on, so I'll do my best if shit happens, but you realise the risks here is like you don't have a dry suit. We're going half an hour out into open water. So I gave it to him real. I said, like, apparently at this time of the year, you got 4 minutes, you know, time in the water before you become unresponsive. And like, I will be responsive. I will be able to kind of like go longer, but you won't. And I was like, I explained it to them, and they probably like, oh yeah, it just sounds like good fun, you know. But I was kind of like, I was giving it to them in real terms because, you know,
you got to know what you're up against, didn't you?
Yeah, you know, it's real shit, you know, and it's good fun to kind of like race along in a boat and try and do all these things, but it's like, yeah, you don't want to screw up as well. So I did explain to them as well. I said, like, you know, if you fall out of the boat, you know, it's like, yeah, you've got the life jacket on, but just hold on to the boat because the boat will float. Don't let go because you'll move away very quickly and we won't be able to recover you. You know, it's like, so, you know, it's just like the moment you fall in the water, grab that boat and just hold on to it, you know. So it's like, yeah.
The chat's gone south.
The chat's gone south, is it?
Yeah, they're all about muff diving and politics.
We're on muff diving, are we now? We're on muff diving, I can see that.
Yeah, someone's on about Trump.
Yeah. Sump. Yeah. And Trump.
Lucy must have been going to a happy place again.
So okay, right. Let's like maybe dive back into that one then, right? Okay. So
I don't know if that's the term you want to use right now, but
yeah. All right then. So what you're saying is very interesting because it's like, don't go back and try and grab your mate because you'll be gulping the same things as they are and you'll probably drop. So if somebody drops,
especially because you're now going to exert yourself trying to drag your friend.
Trying to drag your friend.
You're going to accelerate yourself getting into the same situation.
Yeah, if somebody drops in front of you, it's time to be running the other way. You may chat. Well, so this is the theory on it then. This is the theory from the people that know, is like you've got to just get the other way, get help, before you try to go running towards them in an area that may be full of gas.
Yep.
Right. So it is the
I'd say it's a 99% chance you're never going to get them out of there anyway.
It's a Clarkson rule, is if they've dropped, they're probably way beyond helping. So yeah. It's not a good thing to it's not a cool conversation to be having, but this is why we're having the conversation, because it's like, you know, yeah, it'd be better for one person to get out alive than two to be dead.
Right.
So
yeah.
Unfortunately, Clarkson's rule, you know, is definitely applies underground. Yeah. So, all right then. Are there any circumstances? I'm just kind of going through this. Are there any circumstances whereby you would see somebody going through something? What if somebody was like halfway there? What if they were like showing signs of something going on?
Then you turn around and get them as far back to where the clean air is as possible. And if they drop again, you're just gonna have to leave them and keep moving, get them help. Obviously, if you can, leave them with a space blanket, some water and stuff like that, something so they've got enough to survive. If do you know what I mean? Because sometimes cave rescue, especially in England as well, they can take up to 24 hours to get to a person.
Right.
So, and you're going to have to be on the outside, ready to take that call and navigate them and give the information to the people that are coming to rescue them. So you can't really do a lot. You're a sitting duck in that situation.
Is there anything that you can do to administer like some sort of help to somebody who starts like freaking out or looks like
as I said, your best bet is try and just, if you know it's not down to bad air and they're just having an episode, get them to take a breather, give them some water, just try and get them to relax. And if it passes, it passes. And if they want to keep moving, you keep moving. But obviously in that scenario, if somebody gets like that, give them a bit of water, sit them down in it, chill them out. And then your best bet is probably just to move on and get rid of them.
That's a real world thing as well, because people panic underground. They feel like it's the end of the world.
And that person becomes your weak link.
If they've never done this sort of stuff before, they'll start hyperventilating. They'll start sort of like, oh, I'm feeling bad. And you've got to try and gauge whether or not it's real symptoms of like headache or whether just like, psychosomatic, like, oh, I don't like being down here, I've got a headache. You've got to kind of gauge, are they really? So are there any real world ways to test whether somebody is really screwing up and like going down, with something? Because with flying, for example, they told us a real world way to test whether or not you're suffering from hypoxia, because you don't tend to realize that you're losing oxygen in your system, and it will appear like you're happy. Oh yeah, I'm really good at this flying. This flying is great. It's great until you go bing and you pass out. So what they tell you is if you've got any inkling in your mind that there's something wrong, is start to do something like mathematics, like try to say like, what's 10 times 10? What's 4 times 4? What's 8 times 8?
But again, it's like a sobriety, innit? Do you know what I mean? You just ask them basic questions like who they are, what day of the week it is, if they know where they are, stuff like that. Just basics, I suppose.
But the thing is with they were saying is like you actually don't care whether or not the answers are right. So you can go like, what's 8 times 8? 88, and you don't care. It's like, so what to the person who's suffering, they won't realize that there's a problem. So it's like it's up to the person who's not suffering to kind of determine it, because the person who's suffering will be like, no, I feel fine. And you say, well, tell
you're
me.
Gonna know. You're gonna know.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tell
At
me.
the point where you're asking them questions,
about,
something's wrong and you need to take action.
Yeah. So what would it be like? Somebody's walking not in a straight line, or what would be
not
the
necessarily,
symptoms?
because sometimes you can see that from exhaustion. Do you know what I mean? People start stumbling about from exhaustion underground, especially with all the rubble underfoot. So sometimes that's not a good indicator.
Yeah.
Just conversation. Do you know what I mean? You know what it's like when everybody's underground, you're having a good chat, everyone's having a laugh. If somebody just goes quiet on you, that's when you need to then keep an eye on that person. Because that's my first indicator of all my lot that I go out with nowadays. If one of us goes quiet, everybody's on that person straight away. Like, you're all right, mate. What's going on? You feeling all right?
Yeah.
And they're going to get
always tell. Yeah,
they're going to get very focused and introverted. So their mind's going, but their emotions aren't, because they're starting to think about stuff, and they're looking at the ground and that sort of thing.
So little symptoms. Look for little symptoms like that. Of people. And not everybody's
body check, innit?
Not everybody's going to be the same. Like some persons could probably handle more of this lack of oxygen than others. Like you'll be fine, and somebody else will be like starting to go. So you don't see it as an example of like it could be somebody that's really got good oxygen intake might be okay, and somebody else
maybe a smoker or something.
might be suffering more. So yeah,
Right.
something to
There
think
was
about.
also something I saw with Josh the other night too. I'm going to step back to something you were talking about with people that may freak out or get in a
Yeah, people who
position and
get
have you know.
panicked. People
Right.
who get panicked and suddenly
when
they start exhibiting symptoms because they're going, oh, I'm sure something's wrong with me. So they start getting these, I'm sure something's wrong with me. I'm sure I'm not feeling right. There must be gas. There must be gas. And
I thought you were talking about somebody who's getting panicked. Okay, because I saw a point
yeah,
with
that's
Josh.
panic. That's panic. You know,
When Dan was going up the hole, towards I guess towards where you were going, and you can hear Josh saying, "Yeah, I'll go. I really don't like spaces," and I could tell that he was starting to get really freaked out, and that's stuff to watch out for too when you're with people. Is not to push people to do stuff that they're not comfortable doing, because you always wind up with a problem once you get past that point. And if you remember when Dan popped up in the hole, and Josh was saying, oh, I would do this, but I normally don't like to do this, and he was going back and forth trying to justify it out loud. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with YouTubers, I mean, they're all bunch of bloody gay boys at the end of the day, and they can't handle their liquor.
Yeah, but you never want somebody like that is past that point where they're freaked out, and then you get into a situation, and now you have a real problem. If you're pushing somebody to go somewhere, don't ever push anybody to go. Not that you guys pushed him. No. But one thing to be aware of is don't ever push people to go beyond where they feel comfortable, because you're going to wind up with a problem on your hand.
Yeah, one of the things they said back here, which is kind of like on this sort of level, like 25 years ago, they said don't walk close to each other, because if there's a cave in, yeah. Now I think this applies a bit wider as well. It's because don't walk close to each other, because if there's a cave in, you'll all get caved in. But also, don't walk like in a tight pack. You walk with a bit of distance between you, because if
I'd say chalk mines, man. Chalk mines and soft stone mines that you can't really like. The silent mines, the stone that just crumbles on itself that you can't hear collapsing. Like slate mines. I've actually witnessed part of the roof coming down. And you hit the noise it makes is utterly horrendous, and it cracked and banged for a good couple of seconds before that actually dropped away. And I mean, the person that was with us at the time basically said as well, he goes, I've witnessed this a few times. He was like, from all the years of me doing this, he goes, I've witnessed that a few times. And he goes, when it does happen, he goes, you usually give you a warning. He goes, the one I won't step into, and this is as IKS told us when we was down in Dover, they're the silent killers. It's things like that just drop. Yeah. The ones you don't hear coming. If you're in a small knit group then, and you don't hear it coming, then you ain't really got to open out.
Soft chalk mines, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's always like that. That it was slating.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't
I don't know if all stones like that, so you can't guarantee.
Sorry, Dennis.
Yeah, for distribution of weight as well, especially if you're walking on false floors and that sort of thing.
You don't necessarily have to walk a tight pack together.
Right. You don't want to.
You can walk distances apart, and then there's more likelihood if somebody at the front or somebody at the back, survives, that they can get help. But if you're all in a tight pack, you might just be all covered. That's another thing to kind of bear in mind. But yeah. Right. Go on. Hold me for a minute. Yeah.
While we're on that subject, false floors. So you can't always tell you're walking on a false floor, and this is the problem. But the sound under your foot should be a good indicator of whether it's solid or rotten, or generally if it's wood. So that's one of the things like we come across is you never actually know, because we've been walking along wooden flooring, and then we've walked underneath it and seen that all of it, like all the chop holding it up, all just snapped away, and that was literally waiting to come down. And it's like, shit, 6 of us just walked across that. So you can't always tell, and you never know what state the floor is in under your foot. So weight distribution is a big thing on false floor. Well, you should just always take precaution, because you never know if it's a false floor you stood on.
I suppose climbers have the answer to that, don't they? Because climbers and people who do the Antarctic, where they're walking over these unknown
light in their feet
areas. You know, where,
Yeah,
where
but
they tie ropes onto themselves. I mean, it's probably going a bit far for caving, but
they're prepared for that.
yeah,
And if you're walking through a cave tied to somebody and they go through, they're going to take you with them.
yeah.
So I mean, somebody in the Arctic has crampons, and they're actually going to get pulled in that crevasse when that person falls. But their job is to take their ice axe and plant it to stop both of them from falling. So
Right.
they're actually both going towards the hole, but it's just to keep that one person. The other person knows how to react with it. I would never do anything like that, tying off to somebody else. Yeah.
Okay. There we are. I'm just asking the idiot questions, and I'm getting some answers. Yeah, this is it. It's like, tie on to the man in front, and you when he goes down, you can stop him, but you'll get pulled in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you may not, but you could very easily, especially if it's slippery and that person goes. Remember that it's not going to be it's not going to be a dynamic load. It's going to be a static load. It's going to be a sudden bang, and it's going to, when that person goes, and it's going to pull you. It's not going to be like
shock
a rubber
load
band.
everybody as well.
Right.
So there you go. Right. What are we having chat in the channel then? So there's quite a few
Hold
people
on.
in.
Get over
How
here.
many-
Where are you going?
Yeah, get over here, you bastard.
Hold on. I got to get my dog. He's chasing things.
You bastard.
Get in.
Right, okay. So, yeah, well, we've got 200 people in the chat, and we've been going for 2.5 hours, so I suppose we'll have to wrap it up. What do you reckon? What are we missing? Tell us in the channel. Are there
I don't think they are.
Are we
But
missing
unless
anything?
anybody
Come
else
on.
can point out anything.
Come on, point out these things in the comments, because I don't want to miss some areas. If we're missing any areas, let's kind of chat. But obviously, hey, here he is.
He was chasing the delivery guy from Amazon.
Yeah, we covered that.
You got out the door.
Yeah.
Just so you know, too, you're going to lose me in about 15, 20 minutes. I got to go make dinner.
Okay. Should we send out a recovery party for you? If we don't hear from you after that, we know where your last position was, so we can send them out. Yeah.
Do we have any questions in the chat? Or
Some people are saying like it's going to be a 7-hour. It's going to be a 7-hour chat. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Once you get past the fourth beer, that's the end.
4 beers. Yeah. Oh God. So I am allowed back yet? I don't know. Was he banned then? Was he talking?
If Andrew behaves himself,
Oh, is it?
I give him about 20, maybe 10 minutes.
Andrew Fody, am I allowed back yet? I didn't know you were gone, mate. I didn't even know you were gone. So, but yeah, be constructive. That's all I can say. Be constructive. It's the destructive or antagonistic, like finger pointing. Like we all make mistakes. We're all like capable of. Hello, Rich Egg said £2. He said good advice, nice to watch. I mean, this is not perfect advice. It's pointing you in a direction. We all are going to do things and realize later on, oh shit, we could have done more. But it's kind of like, it just gives you ideas. It just gives you a little flavor of maybe what you should be thinking about. So don't take this as read. Don't say like oh, Matt said you could do this and do that. Don't take this as advice. Just bear it in mind. But yeah, I've always found like clubs and organisations are usually pretty good places to go. Like Matt said, they might be bitchy between organisations, but they're usually in that organisation. They're prepared to share their information. So it's like between they probably want to kill each other, but
I don't know what it is the Welsh call us, but it's something Scouse something. Yeah, the Welsh caving clubs don't really like us going up there because we're British.
English.
Yeah.
Because British would include England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. But yeah, the Brits, the whole of us, surely.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong? Am I wrong about that? I'm probably wrong about that. So
There's a guy dancing on my head.
So ultimately, you can get this equipment fairly cheaply. It's like hard hats, You can get the, like cheap. We've told you where to get cheap, so like stuff that's you're not going to get wet, and you can crawl through it.
Amazon.
It's going to keep you, yeah, it's going to, 15
Just
quid
make sure
for
you check the safety rating and reviews.
And definitely everybody should have polypropylene, no matter if it's just a great thing to have to make sure you have some thin and thick polypropylene. It's good in water, it's good in cold, it's good in damp.
The thing is, not everyone's going to want to spend the money at first. So all I can say for the people that just want to stick their foot in and give it a test, just get some bare minimum waterproofs.
Yeah.
And at least a hat with a strap on it, chin strap. And if you want to go for a hard helmet, at least put your own chin strap on it. Or at least get scaffolders helmets, anything like that. Something that's not going to fall off with a chin strap. And yeah, as Dennis said, plenty of torches, water, and your average stuff.
Yeah.
I just mean in general, it's everybody. I think everybody should have polypropylene, especially especially if they go exploring. But it's not really going to set you back too much.
It's funny you should say that, actually. I mean, I was going to talk about this thing that's like it's called a life straw, yeah, and walking around with a bottle of Coke, just a bottle of Coke in my pocket, was so heavy going underground. It was like, they say take water, because water, you can't survive without water for very long underground. It's like, if in life. I think you
2 weeks without food.
You can survive for 2 weeks without food, but like a couple of days without water, you'll start like hallucinating. You'll start freaking out. So if you're underground and you start having to, because of like, you have got nothing else, you start drinking water which might be contaminated. You might poison yourself. Yeah. So there are these things called life straws, and you can put these in contaminated water, like oil-filled water. Or dirty water, yeah, which would make you ill, would normally give you the shits, yeah. You can put these things in the water, and you could just literally like suck through the straw.
You got to be careful, though.
Yeah.
I mean, as a last resort, but
yeah.
I mean, you're dealing with stuff that's not meant to be used in a life straw. You're dealing with mercuries and heavy metals and all kinds of weird stuff.
There you go. That's what I wanted to know. See, there's me. I've got my life straw. And I'm like, hey, I can be down a cave for 1,000,000 years now because I've got my life straw. So,
well, I mean, it's better than nothing, but
yeah,
I wouldn't go saying I'm going to go drink at the bottom with a life straw if I get thirsty, kind of.
I'm like, I probably would go for a pool that had been like dripped down from above, not a pool that was like, just there in the bottom with nothing.
That just means it went through the shit and the chemicals on the level above.
Exactly. That's
yeah, but this is it. See, this is why it's good knowledge. It's like, here's me thinking a life straw is going to be like perfect answer. See, I'm like, safety. Let's get a life straw. I can just drink anything. I can.
Yeah, cave. Yeah.
But not in the mine.
I can drink the blood out of a heroin user. Just like, oh yeah, just like he's got AIDS. It doesn't matter. I can just put a life straw. Oh, look, I'm fine now. Just like drink the. Yeah. It's no. You gotta see. You even gotta be careful there. But just think about it. It's like, how long would you be able to last in a cave without water? And it's heavy to carry. It's very heavy to carry. It's a bore. It's boring to carry it.
You're probably going to die from hypothermia before you die of thirst.
Yeah.
You got to remember, it's always the same temperature underground.
13 degrees?
It's in the 50s underground, so.
Is that 13 degrees?
50. It's in, well, yeah, that's right. You guys have weird temperatures.
Yeah, 12, 13, and it's something like that.
I quite like that temperature, to be honest. I like that temperature because it's
during the summer it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, until you come back out into it. That humidity's horrible, isn't it, when you come out in the summer?
Yeah. But okay, so anything else that anyone can tell us in the comments? Like, what are we missing? What's the obvious thing we're missing? Are we like, we've got gases? Oh, I was gonna say something earlier on. You're talking about the gases, yeah? Well, like Josh went up. They went up and over this thing, and it just looks like oh look, they're climbing up and they're climbing over into this other cavern. But from a point of view of gases, they're like water. It's like water in a U bend, you know, like in a U bend of a toilet.
It's
You've got
like
water.
oil and water.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So basically, you could have gases which are up there, which are trapped, and there's gases which are lower, which are like the water. The gases which are underneath are like a water, and the gases which are above could be like a gas, you know. So it's like you've got like a U bend filled with water, which is a gas, and you've got a gas above it, which is a different gas.
Yeah, higher density gas. And the thing is, you could go in there and there's no gas, but there's like when you're walking through the two rails with water on the floor, you're releasing the hydrogen sulfide out of solution into the air. So now you're in a space that the hydrogen sulfide can't get out of because it's denser.
We didn't talk about this, so there we are. Now you're jogging my memory. We didn't really talk about this. What about these stagnant pools?
That's where
we didn't
they're
talk
like
about
sponges
this.
for gas. They're sponges for gas.
Tell me about stagnant pools. Tell me about the stagnant pools then. Okay.
The bad stuff is soluble in water, kind of like mixing salt and water. Except when you step and you mix up that water, they come out of solution.
Right.
So they get raised back up into the air. And
you're saying, it's kind of like mixing salt with water, but that's like, well, what's
what I mean is the water absorbs the salt until there's no more salt crystals left, right? So
okay. I'm just trying to take it back to basics because you just went whoosh. You just went, it's just like salt and water. And I'm like, what the?
Hydrogen sulfide is soluble in water,
right?
And it comes out of solution once it's disturbed. So for 50, 100, 200, 300 years. That puddle sits there, and it soaks up like a sponge the hydrogen sulfide.
Every last bit of gas. Yeah.
Right, and then all of a sudden you come through and you step through it.
So it's like a bomb.
You've just unleashed 200 years worth of gases, basically, disturbing it.
It's like shaking up a bottle of Coke and opening the top, and it just goes boosh.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. So it can store. So a little puddle or a little pocket of water can store up all this nasty gas. And as long as you walk around it, you'll be okay. But if you stomp in it, you're going to go boosh, and you're just going to release it all.
Yeah, you always want to try and avoid walking through stagnant water in a mine for sure.
Top tip. There we are. You see, that's why I thought we haven't dealt with that yet. Don't walk through stagnant pools. Is this what you're saying?
Yes. Unless your name is Andrew, then go ahead and swim in it.
There you go, Andrew. Yeah. You have a super fan. There we are. Super fan. Super chat, super fan. Oh. But so yeah, you know, it's like we just go stomping through. What about?
Oh yeah, you know what? Subaru just brought up a good point. You ever seen like under deep water? If you ever watch a documentary, the methane is actually. Where'd everybody go?
No, I just put you on solo because it was bigger screen for you. Even though you're on portrait mode, so you don't fill the screen. But hey, we won't just like slag you off a portrait mode.
You can actually see the methane is actually comes out of solution, and I mean it's a lot to do with pressures, but it's the same kind of thing. When you release that pressure, that frozen pieces of methane that look like dry ice at the bottom of the ocean will all of a sudden come out of solution. It's not that extreme, but it's the same kind of idea on a microscopic kind of level.
I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, hey,
have you ever watched
frozen methane at the bottom of the ocean? I've not seen this shit. So it's like, yeah. Well, when I was driving round in my Volkswagen Charan the other day, there were these pieces of frozen methane.
Well, I was actually responding to Cypress because he's, and I'm saying yes, it's kind of like that where the pressure can help store it, plus the solubility can help store it. But if it's heavier, then yes, it could be like that. Where he knows what I'm talking about.
Okay. Am I likely to encounter frozen methane in a cave?
Only if you go down about 6,000 feet underwater. But
Oh, okay, that's all right. I just wondered if it was something I needed to be worried about. Sorry.
it was. I think he was just trying to visualize it and explain it. So I was just kind of going along.
Okay. I know that you should definitely not go to the bottom
Donna
of the...
knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what's that? Hey, here's the thing. Have you ever been to the bottom of or near the Mariana Trench, which is like the deepest place in the ocean? Remember that movie, The Abyss?
When the Challenger Deep, though, is now
Yes,
the newest deepest part.
Yeah. And did you see any alien creatures who were made out of water things with like tentacles that would like flip towards your face like angels like this?
Yeah.
Did you see any of those?
Oh, me? Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I've never been down that deep. My deepest dive is 412 feet.
Wow. Are you sure it wasn't classified? You are allowed to talk about, you
Most of it, yeah.
You could tell us, yeah? You could tell us. Okay. So he hasn't seen any of these alien, like...
No, but the greatest thing, and this is probably going to
Don't tell Matt you've seen aliens down there, because he'll be down there.
Oh,
He'll
no,
find a way
probably-
down there tomorrow.
mate.
This is probably going to get some people mad when I say this, but when we used to be welding underwater, the way it works is you have to turn the amperage way up to weld underwater. Like it's the opposite of what you think it would be.
Right.
And as long as you don't get between the electrode and the ground, you're fine.
okay.
If you spin around and put the electrode here, you get electrocuted.
Oh.
So you'll always be
I
like.
always wondered about this. I always wondered how people could be, because I thought if you threw threw something like in the bath with you, you died. Yeah.
Well, that's because
you're saying it's okay.
you're part of taking it to ground.
Yeah.
We were saturation diver, Dennis.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
That's epic, man.
Thanks.
He's proper oil rig.
What would happen
oil rig
is we'd
material.
have
This guy.
We'd have the glow from welding. So you'd pull back if you're in like clear water to take a second to look at it, and the catfish would swim in between your electrode. And boom! It would just
Have you literally had like fish explode?
Yeah.
You've had fish explode in the air. Oh my god. I couldn't work out how you could be in water. Is it because salt water is more conductive, so therefore?
No, you're doing fresh water too. It's you have to turn the amperage way up in order to weld. Welding underwater is really cool because I weld like crap above water, but I love welding underwater because you can take a TIG stick, right, which is the welding stick.
Yeah.
And if this is a piece of metal I'm welding on, I don't know how to do this. Anyway, if I'm welding on this piece of metal and I take the TIG stick, I take my finger and put it right on the edge of the stick where it's burning, and guide it around with the flame right there by my finger, because the heat can't get to my finger. It's like the greatest thing. You can do the best welds because you can control that end of that tip of that rod with your finger.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that freaks me out is like but is it like low voltage but high current? Is it like that's why it's not getting around, because like 240 volts in a bath is going to kill you, but this stuff is like
right, it's high amperage. It's the stuff that kills you.
20 volts but like 200 amps.
Right, it's amperage.
It's amperage. So it's not the voltage would make it go round the water and hit you.
Right. The amperage is the ability of electricity to do work.
Right.
And that's what you need to do to get through the resistance of the water.
Right. So if the voltage is low, it's not beating the resistance, but it's just but you're still going to get you're going to get messed up though if you get between that electrode and that ground. Yeah, between it, but it can't move around. It's that resistance thing. It's like the voltage.
Well, electricity always goes to ground. It's the same above water or underwater. The reason you get electrocuted in the bathtub is because you're part of the path to ground.
Right.
So when you're underwater, you're not a path. There's still a path to ground. It's just that the space between that path to ground and that electrode is what you can't get in between, because the water will then conduct to that ground. But as long as you're behind the electrode, or like right up against it, you're fine. You just can't get between the tip of that tip and the thing, and then you get shocked.
This is a fascinating. I probably have to go into this with you. On my brain will like tick on this for a while, and I'll go. It's lower voltage. Yeah, it's like not 200 volts. It's like 20.
Well, it's still high. It's still decent voltage. It's just you turn the amperage way up.
Yeah, but like
It's still something that would kill you on land, and like, you know, cartoon skeleton glowing thing.
Yeah, that sort of okay. Fascinating. Yes. Like, how can somebody? This is the thing, isn't it? How can somebody underwater weld? Yeah, but like you can't chuck a toaster. You can't chuck a toaster in your bath because it will kill you. But then this guy's in the bath with loads of water and he's welding. This is the thing.
Here's the neat thing.
Yeah, these are things we need to know, folks.
You could take an oxyacetylene torch that you use, to cut metal.
Yeah.
You could take that underwater as long as you're above 15 feet and cut with it. Really?
Because the pressure is still going out there.
But once you go beyond 15 feet, the acetylene becomes unstable and it's dangerous. But above 15 feet, you can actually cut. We don't use that. We use cutting rods and stuff. But you could take. You wouldn't think you'd be able to go with just a cutting torch and go underwater, but you can. It's pretty.
15 feet.
Yeah. The pressure beyond 15 feet makes it unstable.
So I know every day.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. Sort of like like how do you use sticks then? I mean, just quickly, just to blow people's mind. How would you use sticks deeper than gas? So what?
No. A cutting stick is basically you cut. It's the same thing as welding, basically, except it's the electrode is a different material and it has a hole in the center and it blows oxygen through it, and it eats the electrode up as you go, but it blows hole through the metal as you cut. So you're not using a cutting gas at that point. You're using just oxygen and blowing it out the tip where there's a plasma formed between the arc. It's the same thing as stick welding, except you're cutting.
Okay, so the oxygen is feeding the fire.
Right, and it's coming out at a large force, so it's blowing the molten metal as you're cutting away from your cut.
Right, okay. Wow. So, yeah, I didn't even realize that was how they did it. I thought they would like oxyacetylene. It's like, well, they're blowing the acetylene gas down. So it's like, no, they switch for like oxygen, but high pressure, and that's
well, it's not even oxygen.
Firing out.
Yeah.
Firing out of the tube.
You can just use air. You don't need to use oxygen per se. I just say oxygen, but
right. I always wanted to have a chat with somebody who did this stuff to how can you weld underwater? It just doesn't make any sense. How can you do this? Right, okay. I'm starting to get there.
It's actually very easy. Like I said, I'm a crap welder because I'm so spoiled from welding underwater.
Well, yep. It's like those when you drill, they like fire water onto the drill to keep it cool. So I suppose if you're underwater, you've got an abundance of cool.
Oh yeah, the drilling is great underwater.
Yeah, no problem at all. Just drill.
You never
all day.
dull your bits.
Yeah, good stuff.
But you're gonna lose me to go make dinner, so I'll be.
Dinner. Right, have we missed anybody?
What the heck is that?
Alien.
There's an animal I think just ran across my generator. Oh, it's a deer. You'll lose me for like a half hour, but then I'll be back, and probably just on the chat.
Yeah, I mean we're on 2 hours 47. I think I've
got to leave in a minute anyway.
Let's just take this as a sign then. This is a sign that 3 hours is a natural time to kind of like say goodbye. So if you guys need to go, then we will see you soon. And if anybody's got any major questions, we can put them to you. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's been interesting tonight. I mean, like we've touched a number of subjects to just show people, like, do you realize? Do you know? There's a lot more that you maybe
well, if there's
don't
stuff
know.
people want us to go over, then next time we can make a little list and go over it.
Sorry, Maddie.
No,
that's right, Dennis. Take it
you
easy.
guys go chat. I'll be back if you guys are still on in a bit.
Catch you later, sir. Thank you very much,
Thank
Dennis.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commander Matt.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
this guy is
Grounded.
he's like Superman underwater with his rubber underpants on, like, you know, welding away. You know, as long as he doesn't get his genitals in the way of the plasma beam, then he's okay. Just don't cross those beams across the genitals, and you'll be okay. So yeah, but yeah, physics, science, things that we don't have to want to be bored with when we go underground caving. But yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, if there's anything people want to go over, we can always get a list together and do it again whenever. It's not a problem. Gives
If any-
people the basic knowledge and
Yeah,
helps out. Even if it helps one person, that's all that matters.
it's just like we've talked about it. There's obviously going to be an interest now. So if people have got questions, pass them along.
Well, the place me and Dan did in Wales last year, that deep slate mine where we went around 2,000-3,000 feet underground when I took them lot,
Yeah,
that place is now turned into a tourist attraction.
really. Wow.
Yeah, like every time I'm there now, I'm seeing groups of people, and I mean groups of people there trying to find their way to the entrance all the time.
Oh dear.
So yeah, but that's what you get. Dan's got a big following at the end of the day, and even if a small percentage of that want to go and check the place out, they're gonna do it.
This is
So
it.
at least we can inform them properly.
We were down at Rudlow Manor the other day. The video hasn't come out yet, but we went through
I've
a
seen
fence.
snippets.
Yeah, the guy came running out and he goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" And we're just having a look. He goes, "No. Every time you do one of your videos, like there's 40 people a week keep coming up here," and it's like I can believe
Was
it.
was that where I think it is?
Yeah,
At the other,
at the Manor House.
not the main base. Yeah.
The Manor House. And he goes, they're all keep coming up here, and I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, I can understand that. It's like, but this is the thing. It's like it's different when it's on the ground.
Is that not privately owned now, mate? Because I swear there's some bloke that lives close to there that owns it. I'm
Well,
not too sure.
I spoke to the owner. I didn't even go into this because like the guy was like going, "Oh, you've come on our land." And I was like, "Oh shit." Yeah, fair enough. He goes, "You broke in." I said, "No, your Harris fence."
No one broke in there. They leave it open.
Your Harris
Well, they
fence. Well, I tried to lift a Harris fence to get people underneath, and it just fell apart in my hands. It was like, oh well, you know. It was like, well, it wasn't very. It was only one security thing on it. Well, not two. You know, if you got two, you just can't do it.
All
It's
I'm
like-
going to say, Matt, it was that lax when we went there with me and living at Urban that we literally just stepped over the little wall at the front, unnoticed at all, walked straight up the driveway, lit up the cars, the sheds, everything on the driveway, even the security car on the driveway. We were looking inside to see if there's anyone in there with cameras or anything.
Yeah.
Went to the front of the building, and the living room downstairs windows wide open with a cable hanging through it. And it can't be shut because the cable's dangling through it.
Yeah.
So it's like, they can't accuse anybody of breaking in there up to last year because that was all wide open.
Yeah. I mean, I did say
Other
to
than
him, I
fake
said, well,
radio.
sorry, guy, it just fell apart in my hands. It's like I'm lifting
So,
the
yeah,
Harris
Matt, you remember when we done
fence,
the
it just fell
interview?
apart.
When we done the Vice interview, there was music playing and a guy coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when me and Luke got in there, there's actually a radio with a recording playing on the side of the caravan with a guy coughing during a music track playing. So it's meant to distract you.
I'm not gonna.
And that was 1 o'clock in the morning that was playing.
I'm not going to say anything about what I know about their security procedures in that place. Yes, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as well, it's like I actually spoke to the owner, and this is what I was going to say. I didn't bother bringing this up with the guy. You know, he's like, I'm going to call the police. And I could have said to him, well, actually, I've spoken to the owner of this place, and he said he's happy with me going round here. So it's like this goes a little bit above your security role. It's like he said he's actually happy with me going round here, and yeah, they what was the point of this? The point was something to do with what? I've forgotten now. Going in places. I don't know. I've forgotten. Anyway,
We went on a tangent about Rudlow.
Rudlow. But it was to do with like there must have been
You
a
was on
crossover.
about the security coming out.
Yeah.
I can't remember why, but
Yeah, I mean there was a crossover. I'm sure there was a crossover at some point. It was like I was going to bridge this to being like what we did the other day.
come on, where's the
and-
people in the chat?
Yeah. people in the chat. That usually gets my mind working. So
No, everyone's like Matt and Matty again together. It's been a while.
it has been a
It
while.
hasn't been so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been taking a more approach to underground mines and that, guys, trying to get some training in and learn what I'm doing with that. Well, obviously Matt's just carried on work as usual.
To be fair, Matt was always saying to me like, I want to do mines, and in fact, I think you at some point went and you said, I'm all about mines. I'm not interested in this other stuff. I'm all about mines. And I'm like, you can do your mines because I'm not interested in mines so much, you know. So I was like, yeah. So Matt's gone off and he's done his mines and he has done his training about mines. So fair play, you know.
I've got a powerful course eventually, guys. You'll see us again in another video together. But
yeah,
so that's when Matt wants to get his big boy pants on and come underground again because he knows I'll take him to something dodgy.
Yeah, but this is the thing. See, it's like mines. I was like, Dan. Their mines are like mines, and there's mines and mines and mines and mines and mines. They're all the same, you know. It's like, you know, excuse me for being racist, but they all look the same. So, you know, yeah.
Don't they?
I'm into secret bases and secrecy and military
Yeah,
secrecy.
I've still got that side to me. Don't get me wrong. I'm still planning for stuff like that, and there's still stuff in the pipeline that's going to be a bit police chasing, a bit dodgy.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm up for going down mines, but I'm not sure at the same time because it's like it's an awful lot of effort. It's like I remember every time I go down like Corsham underground, like we did with Josh, you say it's going to be.
All I say is Wales is twice the effort, as you know. You've got to walk up the side of a mountain first, and then do the procedure, and then walk back down after.
You say it's going to be 3 hours. Like Luke was being conservative.
Nah,
like,
it's always 20 hours minimum. You're looking at 20 hours from leaving the car to getting back.
Yeah,
and that's on something like the Bridge of Death from one side to the other. Like that you can do that real quick. But if you take a group of beginners with you, you're looking at a good 15 hours.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I'm just like, oh God, you know, it's just a lot of effort. It is hardcore effort. So, you know, hats off to those that want to do it. But it's like. Yeah, I'm sort of like military stuff rather than like underground 20-hour experiences. Or if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have to start learning to do it properly, and you know, we'll see.
My eyes are now set on London. I've got my sights set on certain things there.
There we go. Well, according to
it's not mine, it will be London.
According to the Swindon Spastic. We ain't getting in anywhere because it's all been blocked off. It's all been blocked off, folks. It's all been blocked off. No, you're not getting anywhere. I've told the police, no, you're not getting anywhere. And like,
if he has his way, it would be locked off.
Yeah.
After he's seen it, that is.
Yeah. After he's been in there, then nobody else is going to see anything ever.
And if they don't see it, he'll make it vanish.
So
and then blame it on other people.
Yeah, exactly. Like set fire to it, and then nobody can see it. So yes.
Yeah.
So but I hear you with the London stuff, and if I can help you to see some of that, I'd be more than happy. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch. But anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure, and as always, I'll see you again soon.
3 minutes to go. So yeah, okay then, Matt. Right, well, I'll try and answer some people's questions. Nice to speak to you, Matt, again, and I'm glad to hear that you're getting out there and doing stuff. So, but even though we diverged paths, because he was like, mines, when we were going out, he's like, mines, I want to go to a mine. I'm like, it's late at night, Matt, we're never going to find it. Mine,
underground.
mine underground. So it's like, I was like, oh, we started to diverge slightly. I'm like, bunkers, mines, bunkers. Mines.
Still got my love for bunkers.
Mines.
Military bunkers. You've given me a love for them. I can't stay away from military bunkers. I'll give you that.
But you ain't going to get your SRT in a bunker, are you?
Wow, that's the thing, Matty. We both know there's one certain place that might come in handy one day.
Oh well, yes, there's that place. Yeah, that's it. God, you haven't seen the video. There's a video coming out. There's a video coming out with Josh soon. I took Josh down there, and it was Josh was so like, this is too much, it's too much, and he wasn't filming. I just said to him, turn your camera on. He was like like a rabbit in the headlights. Does it turn the camera on? Keep the camera filming.
Yeah,
Keep
some
the
people
camera.
can't quite believe it, can they?
They can't believe where they are and what they're seeing, and I just keep the camera rolling. And he was like, "No, I'm okay." And I said, "Keep the camera rolling. You'll thank me later. Just keep the camera rolling." So that's all I'm going to say. Is like, yeah, it even overwhelms the best of us. So yeah, it's pretty hardcore. Matt likes the hardcore. He's going for the
Oh,
hardcore.
love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
maybe I'll follow Matt down one day. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll have to do it, mate. But I'll speak to you again soon anyway. It's been a pleasure.
Mate. Yeah, all the best,
Cheers.
mate. Yeah, check out Exploring with Matty, who has a YouTube channel called Exploring with Matty. So, yeah. Right, let's have a check out in the channel and we'll see what people... Swindon Spastic, yeah, right. The swindonspastic.com. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, no names mentioned, but swindonspastic.com. Yeah. Is this halfway through? What, 3 hours? Yeah, no, it's only halfway through, Lucifer. Oh, my God. Yeah. Dennis, you didn't say my name. Donna. As in a kebab, lamb meat. Those little things like lambs. Donna. Just think lambs. In your mouth. Donna. Yeah. I always wanted you always wanted your very own stalker. Well, it sounds like fun, doesn't it? Like having a stalker to play with, except when they get in your house when you're not there. Yeah. Then it's not so much fun. Especially when you've got your dog is in the house and the stalker is in the house with your dog. And you think, oh, what if they were to just like stab my dog now? Or just kill my dog. Yeah. Just to make a point. So then it's not so much fun. Is the stream still going? Oh, that's Dennis. Right. Hey, Matt and Matty, super duo explorers, down to earth and straightforward. Well, I hope we've made it simple, trying to kind of like go through real world examples of what you have to be aware of. So if it comes about that I am dead at the bottom of a mine because of gases, then you could say, well, he never ever took his own advice. So yeah, it's snuff, folks. Snuff. It is my snuff tin. Wow. Yeah. Lab 72 says piss himself laughing. The Swindon Spastic. Yes. You're not supposed to say spastic anymore. You're supposed to say something else. But I don't know what it. I don't know. I plead the fifth. I'm afraid. Have another beer. I would, but they've all gone. I have to go and get more beers. Exploring with Ash. Night to everyone that they have missed. Yes, Ash. Thank you very much. Me and Aish went to an explore, but it was all locked up. They had been there and locked it up, and then we got caught by there was a camera looking at where we were, and we were looking like, oh, it's all locked up. So we walked away, but the camera followed us and reported us to the police. And we had 3 cop cars and 5 police, I think I counted, come to ask us why were we there. Oh God, it was just nightmarish. It was like, and I had to say, well, I got a YouTube channel. But it's a lockdown. And I went, yeah, but I can only film. It's my work, so therefore I can only film if I'm out of my house. And they were like, no, it's a lockdown. I was like, yes, I totally understand what you mean. It's a lockdown, so therefore it's a lockdown. I totally understand what you mean, officer. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I'm sure I would get along with Donna's dog, says CH. Donna, have you got a dog? What is your dog? Send photo of your dog. We like dog. In fact, I have dog, but my dog is just like, oh, he's making too much noise. So my dog won't come upstairs because I'm talking too much. My dog does not like talk too much. So, should we see if we can get dog up? I haven't got anything for her, but should we see if we can get her up to say hello and good night. Come on, Em. Come on. Come say hello. Come say good night. Come on. Come say hello. Come on. Oh, she's coming. She's coming. Oh, there's such a puppy. She's listening to everything. She listens to the whole lot. Oh, baby. Oh, my baby. Oh, you come to say hello. Hello, pups. Oh, hello. You come to say hello, baby. Oh, say good night to everybody on the channel. I will take you out in a minute. I'll take you out for a walk. Do you want to go out for a walk? She goes, I don't believe you. She goes, I don't believe. She goes, it's too much. She's excited. She oh. See the way the head turns? She's like, I excite. What, you want to go out for a walk? Is it? She looked me straight in the eyes, look. Yeah. Go out for a walk. Oh my God, go for a walk. Is it for walkies? Out in the lane with a walk. Want to come out with me for a walk? Yes, she said. I give you a kiss. I give you a kiss. Come on, Ed. Let's get out there. That, my folks, is an indication it's time to end the stream. So it's time to take the dog for a walk so I don't keep on like winding her up because she's like, you take me now. Take me out for a walk now. Take me out for a walk now. You take me now. Take me out for a walk now. You want to go out, dear? Do you want to go out for a walk? Up a lane? Oh, come on, Ed. Oh, she said, I go now. You follow me. What, up the lane for a walk? You come now. I follow. What, you follow me? Really? Up a lane for a walk? Oh, my God. This is it. This is it. This is it. We've got to go for a walk now. So I've got to go, folks. We've got to go for a walk now. Now. It's important. So, okay. You've had your safety bollocks. And, yeah. We are now no longer responsible for your safety. So, yeah. But don't listen to anything we've ever said. It's... Don't do it. Just don't do anything. Never, ever, bloody anything ever. As Rick Mail said. So, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Okay, folks, it's been a good one. Thank you very much for tuning in. 3 hours is long enough. I'm sure you have lives to lead. I have a dog to walk. Good night.